We get a game to match the occasion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Conor. I was thinking FA Cup night, it wouldn't be a full house. Wow, it's a great atmosphere and it's going to be a full house. And we're going to get goals, Conor.
Tottenham 5th place in the Premier League. They are 28 points above tonight's visitors, Burnley down in 19th. And two teams who like to hold possession, two teams who like to attack. Let's see which way this one is going to pan out. Vincent Kompany, who is very doggedly stuck to his principles and hasn't altered his team's style despite the fact results have not come their way. Josh Cullen rolls the ball back to the goalkeeper, Muric, wearing all black. Into the midfield again, and a sloppy pass is pounced upon by Brennan Johnson, but he can't get full control of it. Destiny Udogie will do. Udogie, who's getting his first taste of the FA Cup this evening. What an introduction he's had to the Premier League this season. I mean, he looks like he's been playing here for 10 years.
For me, Conor, he's been the best left-back in the Premier League this season. I think he's been outstanding. And I agree with you. He does look so comfortable in defending and going forward.
I love how he goes forward. And, you know, it's been well documented, the old Joe Cancelo trick at Manchester City and how Kyle Walker and others have done it. But he doesn't just go into midfield. Yeah. He goes from full-back into attack.
He does, you're right.
And it's been so exciting to watch. Here is Udogie. Three defenders in around him immediately. Vincent Kompany comes out and warm applause. Vincent Kompany down there in the warm padded coat and the baseball cap, and the throw-in is going to be taken by Udogie back to Giovanni Lo Celso, who spots them. Emerson Royale's got loads of space inside the centre circle. Tottenham play from right to left as we look down. Loud atmosphere in North London. Kulusevski's begun the game wide on the right-hand side. Johnson left for Tottenham. Richarlison through the middle. Richarlison, who's got 5 goals in his last 5 games. It's a still evening, not much wind, no rain, good conditions for FA Cup football as Oliver Skipp gives it back to Emerson again, into the centre circle for Ben Davies. Ben Davies, who reached the FA Cup semi-finals with Tottenham twice in 2017 and 2018. He really is one of the old guard now. I was just thinking when the teams came out, Clinton, I wonder when the last time was, and I don't know the answer to this, as Kulusevski chips one into the penalty area and Darragh O'Shea heads away. I wonder the last time Tottenham played an FA Cup game and neither Harry Kane nor Son were in the team. As Udogie bursts into the penalty area, down he goes. Tottenham on a penalty. Referee says no. Burnley can't get it away. Lo Celso inside the penalty area. Burnley players swinging legs, trying to dispossess him, and then eventually Lyle Foster is able to come away with the ball, and he plays a nice pass down the left-hand side where Wilson Odegaard will bring it over the halfway line. We've played 2.5 minutes. Pace of the game is fast already. Chance for Taylor to cross. Great ball in. Fresh air shot by Foster. Then it falls down, and Zaroury can't keep it down. And it sails over the crossbar, but Burnley lightning quick on the counter-attack there and getting a shot away.
Yeah, you're right. It was good hold-up play from Foster. Really good hold-up play. And the ball eventually... Oh, what's happened there?
I think they're just waiting because, Jim, the penalty appeal down the other end when Udogie went down. We do a VAR.
And it felt like something may be thrown onto the pitch, but I don't know what it was. There was, and Emerson Royale went. But you're right, Conor. There's really good play from Odegaard, but they are checking the penalty. You are right, but I don't think it's a penalty. Good ball in from Taylor, and you're right. It's a fresh air shot from Foster. He should really do better in that situation.
Video assistant referee tonight is Darren Bond. Assistant referee is Stuart Bird. And what is a new sort of development they're trying out in these third-round games, there's a support VAR. So Chris Kavanagh is there as well. We've got VAR, AVAR and SVAR now.
We're going to get one right today then, aren't
we? Here is Lyle Foster towards the edge of the penalty area, and Zaroury and Ben Davies will come away with possession, but a little bit too casual. Tottenham, as we know, like to play it out from the back. He's given it away there. Foster has it on the edge of the penalty area. Zaroury available on the right-hand side. Udogie is back in position, and he's so strong. And he manages to shove the opponents away and shield the ball as it trickles out for a goal kick. The Tottenham fans very much enjoyed that.
I enjoy watching him. He's so strong and powerful. Conor, you're right.
Enjoyed your chat with Darren and Paul about the... having VAR in some of the third-round games and not in others.
What did you think of that, Conor?
Well, I slightly disagree, and I'll give you my analogy. Hang on a sec, Foster comes on the attack here, putting pressure on Ben Davies. Davies goes down, Foster is in, but it's a push on Davies, and it's a free kick to Spurs. So here's what I think. There aren't speed cameras on every road. Should we then say, well, we shouldn't have speed cameras on any road?
Yeah,
because the
good
thing
point.
is, okay, if you want to break the rules and get away with it, you'll be pleased that you don't have VAR. But you know, for me, if we want the game to be efficient, if we want the most right decisions, you have them as many as you can. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but that's
No,
my
but that's
view on
your
it.
opinion, and I can see some sense to it as well, mate.
Let's go and get some details of the Brentford-Wolves game in just a moment. Brennan Johnson's attacking into the penalty area here, trying to get it onto his left boot, trying to squeeze in a shot from a tight angle, and he will win a corner. And we got to go to Chris Semple at the GTEC Stadium, Brentford against Wolves.
Well, at half-time, it's Brentford 1, Wolves 0. Red card after just 9 minutes for Wolves. João Gomez for a dangerous challenge on Christian Norgard. It took Brentford another half an hour, though, to break through. Neil Maupay hammering a goal in just 5 minutes before half-time. One of only 2 shots on target by Brentford. Wolves have defended stoutly, but they will have to come from behind. Brentford 1 up at the break.
Tottenham 0, Burnley 0. 5 minutes played in North London. Corner for Tottenham. Porro's put some real welly on that, too much. Sails over everyone and harmlessly goes out for a goal kick on the far side. So Tottenham and Burnley here. Fulham and Rotherham playing at Craven Cottage. Commentary of that game is available right now on our sister station Sports Extra. Fulham are 1-0 up in that game. Bobby Dick or Dover Reid scoring midway through the first half. And here it is the goal kick for Ari Muric, the Kosovan goalkeeper, who's yet to make a Premier League appearance this season. He has played in the League Cup matches and now the FA Cup games for Vincent Kompany. He was the regular through the promotion campaign in the Championship, but James Trafford's come in and he's done very well. No shortage of promising goalkeepers at Burnley, which, to be fair, has always been the case. You look back over recent seasons, they've always had really good goalkeepers over the years at Burnley. That's a great touch. Chance for Wilson Odobert to get into a shooting position. There was plenty swerve on that, and Vicario diving to his left just pushed it away, didn't want to try and catch it. And Burnley have now had 3 decent chances in the opening 7 minutes of this game.
Yeah, it's a great little touch by Foster and Odobert. It's just saved that Vicario should make watching the replay, but instead of catching it, he parried it, and I think he did the right decision there.
There was a lovely backheel to set up Odobert. I think it was Lyle Foster. It was really, really good.
Yeah, you're right. Great touch from Foster.
Burnley on the attack. Aaron Ramsey, former Aston Villa player, not the Welsh Aaron Ramsey. As here at the back is Han Delcroix, Belgian international defender who's played in the last 3 Premier League games. Burnley retreat in order to hold on to possession, and then Muric goes long and he's trying to get it over the top here for Zaroury, but it bounces all the way through to Vicario. Guglielmo Vicario, the Italian goalkeeper, who's another who tonight is getting his first taste of the FA Cup. So 8 minutes in, Tottenham have had some early bursts of attacking play, but they've had plenty of defending to do as well. Here comes Johnson now. Brennan Johnson cutting in on his right boot, rolls it short for Richarlison. For a moment it felt like space for a shot was opening up for Johnson. He was unselfish. Too many Burnley defenders back there, and it's a free kick to the visitors.
Yeah, I think Brennan Johnson just needs that goal, don't he? He come inside. I've seen him a few times for Tottenham, and he just needs it's the confidence, I think, because if he's at Forest, Connor, I think he just tries to bend that in the far corner. He should never change his game because he's come to a bigger club. Still be the same person you are, because he's an outstanding young talent.
Ange Postecoglou's first taste of the FA Cup tonight, having led Celtic to victory in the Scottish Cup final last season. I remember commentating on the game for 5 Live, their win over Inverness. That was his last ever game in charge of Celtic. Could he bring some silverware now to the white side of North London? Josh Cullen rolls the ball back to Darragh O'Shea. Right-footed clearance down the right, and there's no one there for Burnley. Foster sprinted across to put some pressure on Ben Davies, but plenty of time for Davies to whip it back infield to Vicario. Porro gets a touch, and Tottenham play their way out from that final third once again. Tottenham have been knocked out at the 5th round stage in each of the last 4 seasons. They tend to get through 3rd round, 4th round, and then it crumbles a little bit for Spurs. But this does feel like a new Tottenham this season, and if they can get into the latter stages, get those players who've been injured back in the team. Here's Richarlison into the penalty area, left-footed shot, dragged it across the face of goal and wide. First big clear-cut chance of the night.
It's great football. Let me tell you, the touch from Bentancur round the corner was a great little touch, and then Doggy's flick to Skip. Skip played a good ball to Richarlison, and he just takes that touch, and he never looked like his body was set, even though he's been in fantastic form, and he drags it right at the post. But really good football from Tottenham.
Richarlison, who's got 5 FA Cup goals in his career, That's the first big chance that's come his way tonight. A player who seems to have found his shooting boots after what was a quite barren start as a Tottenham player, but he looks every bit the number 9 now. This is Lo Celso's ball, a good one. Over the top, Brennan Johnson away down the left-hand side. Vitinho's been dragged out towards him. Johnson infield again, on his right boot, great shot, good save. Diving to his left was Muric. As Jimmy Armfield used to say, we were right behind that. We could see the curve towards the far post, and Muric got down really well to push it away.
Yeah.
Here's Porro, right-footed ball into the penalty area. They took the corner really quickly. Spurs tried to inject pace and tried to quell what's been a quite lively start from Burnley. Porro has it here, midway inside the Burnley half, gives it back to Rodrigo Bentancur. Bentancur, who started against Bournemouth last time out. That's only his second Premier League start since February. They're really hoping, Spurs, that he gets a run of fitness now and stays in the team. Little slip by Lo Celso, but he's able to recover his stance and plays it back into space once again for Ben Davies. And then Richarlison has taken up a position wide out in the left wing. He'll break in towards the penalty area, sends it across with his right, but it was Udogie who was in there, couldn't get a front touch in it, and it's cleared away. But a few chances there for Spurs, the best of them for Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, and that's what I said 2 minutes ago. That looked like Brennan Johnson that we saw at Forest. Cuts inside. If it wasn't Muric in goal, it goes in that far corner, but he's 6'6", 6'7". It's a brilliant save from Muric, but good play from Brennan Johnson on that left-hand side.
He's a massive goalkeeper, and he needed all that length to get across there. Here comes Spurs, who've just clicked up a gear in recent minutes. Kulusevski on the right wing, just outside the penalty area. Nudges it in, gets it back again from Lo Celso. Behind him is Emerson Royal. Royal, who's played in all the defensive positions so far this campaign. He's been right back, he's been left back, he's been central defence probably more than any of them. Now down the left comes Spurs with Brennan Johnson, who most of his Tottenham career so far has been on the right-hand side. But in the absence of the Korean son, who's away at the Asian Cup, Ange Postecoglou is throwing the Welshman out on the left, and he's certainly seeing lots of the ball. Udogie again, into the penalty area. Nice little burst, swings in across, hit the lower body of Vitinho. Hands were down by his side, and Cullen, much to the Burnley defence relief, is able to clear it away and back into the Tottenham half. And Tottenham beginning to pile on the pressure, still 0-0 on 5 Live.
Yeah, they play good football. 1 and 2 touch between Bentancur, Lo Celso and Skip getting involved, but it's Udogie and Brennan Johnson on this left-hand side that are causing a lot of problems.
Tottenham have never lost an FA Cup tie at this stadium in normal time. They've only been beaten in penalty shootouts here at the FA Cup. Long ball over the top, Richarlison sprinted after it, but it was always beating him and going through to Muric. That pass was played by Pedro Porro, who played a wonderful ball just like that a few games back. I think it was the Forest game when he played a lovely ball to pick out Richarlison to score, but that one was just overcooked. Long clearance by Muric down the middle, backpedaling, Emerson wins the header, and then that's really good by the graceful, elegant Bentancur, who sets Tottenham in motion, rolls it low to the feet of Brennan Johnson. Ball ahead of Kulusevski into the penalty area. Delcroix's back there, nothing fancy from the Belgian defender. He puts it out for a Tottenham throw, 0-0.
Yeah, Delcroix, he did ever so well. I think it may be a deflected of Bentancur, so he got the throw on, but yeah, really good defending. But as you say, Bentancur is such an elegant footballer, Connor. He just needs a run of games. Tottenham have missed him massively.
Last night, Crystal Palace and Everton drew 0-0. They'll do it again in a replay. This evening, Brentford are leading Wolves by a goal to 0, and Fulham are 1-up at home against Rotherham at Craven Cottage. You can listen to that game right now on our sister station 5 Live. But over the weekend, we'll have commentators and reporters at all the big games. We can follow the stories wherever they happen. Big matches tomorrow, particularly Sunderland against Newcastle. That's the lunchtime game. Gillingham against Sheffield United. It's our pick of the 3 o'clock matches as Udogie pulls it back for the byline. Miscued, attempted a clearance. Spurs are still in the attack here. Bentancur across to Porro. There's a lot of cooks stirring this broth. Kulusevski onto his left boot. Tries to get the angle for the shot, but it's charged down. And then Johnson tries to swing a header at it, but no pace. And it's saved by Muric. Good play again, though, by Tottenham.
Yeah, Burnley can't get hold of the ball, and Tottenham are just suffocating and they can't get out. And you think Kulusevski, when he comes on that right-hand side, Pedro makes a great run, and you're thinking he's going to bend it. Really good defending, and then it deflects, and Brennan Johnson can't get his header to beat Muric. He's going to be busy this evening, that's for sure. We
haven't reached the quarter-hour mark yet. There's been a lot of goal-mouth action, and O'Shea has made a mistake here. Bentancur gives it Richarlison. Shot on target, but saved by Muric. The defence was bearing down on him, and he didn't catch that as cleanly as he would have wanted, Richarlison. but that's 2 sights of goal he's had now, and this remains Tottenham 0, Burnley 0.
Yeah, I think if it's on his right foot, he takes a bigger touch and gets across the defender, can drill it. But he never looked like he was going to run away from O'Shea, who was getting back at him, and it was a comfortable save from Muric.
Has scored a few goals against Burnley in the past for Richarlison back in his Everton days. And Tottenham fans will be pleased that the team's been getting it to him here in the early stages. Emerson heads it back to Vicario, who's right on the edge of his penalty area, but he didn't handle outside the box. And Tottenham will build from deep. Emerson onto Pedro Porro. And what's making this game entertaining is that while Tottenham come out, Burnley push up, and a lot of teams are afraid to do this against Spurs because you get caught on the counter, but Burnley are brave. They're being caught here as Johnson comes in around the back of Vitinho. Here's a ball into the centre, well held by Muric, diving outwards off his goal line, and he caught that with both gloves.
Muric has been outstanding. He hasn't played. It's Trafford that's been the number one, but he's keeping Burnley in this game at the moment.
5 live for the BBC, the Tottenham Stadium, as Lyle Foster sprays a ball out towards Wilson Odobert on the left-hand side. He's been one of the brighter sparks for Burnley recently. Then Amdouni tried an awkward technique there. He wanted to push the ball ahead of Emerson and run around the other side. He didn't really have his angles right for that. He's given up possession cheaply, and now with Burnley pushed up the field, it's a chance for Tottenham to go. Lo Celso was playing a pass there. Udogie knew it was going to come right at him. He tried to jump over it, but he jumped a bit early. He came back down again as it connected with him, and you'll hear in the background a lot of noise here at Tottenham Stadium. Big round of applause, because this is the 16th minute, and this is a round of applause for the young Tottenham fan Harry Pittman, who sadly was killed on New Year's Eve, and they've put his image up on the enormous big screens here with "Rest in Peace Harry," and there's a hashtag that says "End Knife Crime," and very much a message of support here towards the Pittman family from everyone involved at Tottenham. That's a very well observed gesture in the 16th minute of what's been a very sad story. 0-0 between Tottenham and Burnley on 5 Live in the FA Cup third round. Emerson has possession for Spurs inside the centre circle. Tottenham playing from right to left, all in white. Ben Davies to the near touchline to his Welsh international colleague Brennan Johnson. Infield to Bentancur, who's got a little pocket of space. No look pass to Udogie, who tried a backheel to Kulusevski. Kulusevski gets it with his back to goal. Now Brennan Johnson. This is all still inside the penalty area. Lo Celso hits it left-footed, but always rising. And from about 20 yards out, he puts it over the crossbar. It's been frantic, Clinton, non-stop for 17 minutes here.
And it has, and it's all been at the Burnley goal, to be fair. And Tottenham, you always think when you're on top, can you punish the team? And at the moment, they're not punishing. But yeah, good play again from Brennan Johnson. And Lo Celso's just leaning back. He's come back into the team, and he's been good in the last few weeks.
The other games tomorrow, Gillingham, Sheffield United, with the round-the-ground service at 3, and Borough against Villa. Middlesbrough Villa is the 5:30 game. You can listen to this that on 5 Live. On to Sunday, Peterborough against Leeds, full commentary on 5 Live. The Arsenal-Liverpool game, by the way, on Sunday, that's live on BBC One television. And Monday night, we'll see Wigan against Manchester United, which should be a good cup tie, potential of all sorts of fun and games there, with Wigan, who used to be regular opponents of Manchester United but haven't played them for a few years, and they'll be looking forward to that visit of Eric Ten Hag's team. We've played 18 minutes here. It's been 74% possession in Tottenham's favour. They've had 5 shots, 3 of them have been on target, but no goals yet. As the ball is played back to Vicario, who's got time to get it under his control in the Tottenham penalty area, away to our right-hand side. Burnley, who got off to a bad start this season, they've not been able to recover. They were the first team in top-flight history to ever lose the opening 7 games in a row of a league campaign. The current home league record this season is 9 defeats from 10 games, and it's been a complete sea change from last season, the Championship, where they dominated games, where they were constantly on the attack. Very much a sea change for Vincent Kompany, who's trying to hang on in there in very difficult circumstances. Here comes Udogie, challenged by the Brazilian Vitinho, and then Darragh O'Shea under pressure from Skip rolls it back to the goalkeeper Muric. No messing about, clears it up towards the halfway line. Difficult at the moment for Burnley to hold on to possession. Zaroury battles, Cullen tries to get involved, but he's been pinged by the referee, and that's a free kick to Tottenham, and it's still 0-0.
It is. You can see Vincent Kompany trying to tell his team to settle down, but they can't settle because the tempo and the rate that Tottenham play at, they're finding it difficult. They need to string a few passes together, Connor, and that's what they need to do. But Muric is going from back to front, so I don't think, and that's unusual because when I've watched Burnley a lot this season, they do try to play out from the back.
20 minutes now. The last 6 games that Tottenham have played, they have scored inside the opening half hour in all of them. And there's almost an expectancy mood around the stadium here. The way Tottenham have started this game, and the home team waiting for that first goal to come. Last time these sides met, by the way, back in August, it was Burnley who scored early. Lyle Foster scored after just 4 minutes. As the ball, tough for a moment, went out of play, but it was kept in by Porro on the far side. And then he runs right into Josh Cullen.
Connor, was
that's
that
a free kick to Spurs?
Was that when Son scored a hat-trick?
Yes, hat-trick for Son.
5-1, I remember that game. I think that was a master stroke. That's when he played him through the middle. I know he's been effective on the left, but he was playing him as a central striker.
And Son will be a miss for the next few games for Tottenham away at the Asian Cup with Korea, which of course is very important to him, and he's got like godlike status in Korea. I mean, it's enormous news when he plays for the national team, and he'll be hoping to do well in that. Some Tottenham fans might hope they get an early exit, that they might get their star man back a little sooner. Lo Celso was crunched into by Josh Cullen there. Referee waited for a moment to see if there would be advantage for Spurs. There wasn't. Now he's blown the whistle. Free kick to Tottenham, and he shows the yellow card to Josh Cullen.
I don't think it's a foul. I think, why has he delayed it so long, unless the fourth official is in his ear maybe telling him, because if you look at it here, he gets the ball. Connor,
yeah,
is it the follow through?
I think he acknowledged it was a foul, but the reason he delayed was he was going to see did Tottenham get an advantage. Cullen immediately points out, he says, I got the ball, which of course isn't the whole of the law either. You know, getting the ball is all well and good, but you've got to be careful of the reckless nature of any lunge. I'm at you, Clinton. I think, you know, there wouldn't have been consternation if the referee had said play on there.
Yeah, and he booked him as well.
Yeah. First yellow card of the game for Josh Cullen, who was Burnley's player of the year and the players' player of the year.
Connor, they're checking for a red card, serious foul play. I think it's the one after where Bentancur goes on Zahouri. I think he's going up, but if he's blown the whistle, how can you then go and look at that after? So that's what they're checking for. Bentancur going on Zahouri.
Yeah, and see, this is often the confusion, and where I think communication needs to be better with VAR. People say, hang on a minute, why are you looking so long? They're looking at something else. Anyway, they've looked at both of them. They've decided no further action is required on either of them. And with 22 minutes played, yellow card for Josh Cullen, and it is now half-time in the Fulham-Rotherham game, which was a 7:30 start at Craven Cottage, and here is Andy Giddings.
Well, at half-time, Connor, it's Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0. The Cottagers dominated the ball early on, but weren't really going anywhere until Rotherham United defender Sebastian Revan gave the ball away. He gave it to Bobby De Cordova-Reid, 19 yards out, and the informed man arrowed his effort into the top corner past Victor Johansson. Other than that, Fulham had a scuffle in the penalty area in which Harrison Reed and Andreas Pereira had efforts. One of them cannoned back off the post, and a handball check was required by VAR. Rotherham, for their part, have had the ball in, but Jordan Hugill's effort was ruled out, quite rightly, for offside. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0.
You can listen to the second half of that game on Sports Extra. Has a chance for Tottenham here, bit of dilly-dallying at the back for Burnley, but they just about shovel it away and out for a corner, and there's all sorts of post-mortems going on down there. Delcroix, who had the ball played to him inside the penalty area, clearing it away. It was a goal kick from Muric, and he didn't cover himself in glory there. He played it to a very marked teammate, and Tottenham almost capitalised. Anyway, Tottenham have got their corner. Porro's come across to take it. Left-hand side of the field as Spurs attack. Left hand raised in the air from Pedro Porro. Burnley have everyone back in the penalty area defending it. Played in too close to the goalkeeper. We've mentioned the giant frame of Muric, and he's able to gather the ball there.
Yeah, that's food and drink from Muric. You've got to whip that in. It's too floated, and as we said, the size of him, that's easy for him, especially if you don't have a centre forward that stands on him.
It's the voice of Clinton Morrison, who was well used to standing on the toes of goalkeepers in his playing days.
Connor knows, he's definitely spot on there.
That was your main role for set
Exactly,
pieces,
definitely. I'm not attacking it, I weren't big enough.
Cullen's clearance is charged down there. There wasn't any danger. Tottenham have regained possession to get inside the Burnley final third, but to hold on to possession, they retreat back to the halfway line, and Emerson gives it to Ben Davis. Davis, who was one of those somewhat out of favour with Ange Postecoglou at the start of the campaign, but with so many defensive injuries, he's become one of the main men in recent weeks. If you missed the news earlier on, Darren had it in the Football Social earlier on. Eric Dyer being linked now with the move to Bayern Munich. And Dyer, who even, no matter how bad the defensive injuries have been for Spurs, he's barely got a look in this season. It felt inevitable he'd go somewhere, Clinton. Bayern Munich is not a bad destination. He can meet up with his old friend Harry Kane.
It's a brilliant destination. Harry Kane has probably had a word, because they are good. I think they are good friends, but what a move for it is for him.
Yeah, not confirmed, but that's the story. Here is Richarlison into the penalty area, just played the ball too far in front of Kulusevski, and then Kulusevski in his attempts to get back goal side of Cullen fouls him, and that's going to be a free kick to Burnley inside their own penalty area. So if you're just joining our coverage here, Tottenham 0, Burnley 0. There's been decent attempts at both ends. Odegaard hit a shot, well saved by Vicario. Tottenham have had a whole host of chances, probably the best of them. Well, two clear sights of goal for Richarlison that he couldn't get on target. The best of them on target from Brennan Johnson, who cut off the left wing, right-footed shot towards the far post, and it was well saved by Ari Muric, the Burnley goalkeeper tonight. Burnley with 5 changes from their last Premier League game. Tottenham only making 2 changes, and both of those enforced. Battling for possession down below us is Zaroury, but he can't wrestle Udogie, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to Burnley right in front of the visitors' dugout. Vincent Kompany is down there, little calming motions with his hands, little clap of them, encouragement for his team to say, OK, this is going all right. 25 minutes in, we've had to weather a bit of a storm, but we haven't conceded. Here is Amdouni, good ball, out into space for Odegaard. Just to the edge of the penalty area, steps into the box, step over against Porro. Porro kept his eye on the ball. Now some support arrives for Charlie Taylor. He's left-footed ball into the middle. Bentancur jumped and got his head to it. Zaroury, edge of the D, couldn't get his body shape right to shoot. And credit Richarlison, who got back to disrupt, and he unsettled Burnley there, and the ball goes out for a throw-in on the far side. Clinton Morrison.
That's a player, Zaroury, that's not full of confidence, because once it drops to his left foot, being an attacking player, I'm not leaving it for Brownhill, my centre midfield. I'm going to swing my foot at it and try and work the goalkeeper. But that will give Burnley a bit of confidence. I still worry Tottenham defensively, Connor. I think they're miles too open sometimes.
Yeah, with the 4 fullbacks, not a natural central defender between them. By the way, Mickey van de Ven back on the bench this evening. That's a great ball. Slipped in, Zaroury, then a stand on it, and over the top. What a chance! Burnley somehow didn't score, and it wouldn't have counted anyway. The flag goes up. Amdouni into the penalty area, tried to shoot, stood on the ball.
No, he's onside. Watching the replay, he's miles onside. I think the fourth official's going for a goal kick. He was shaking his head at the Tottenham. He's miles onside, Amdouni. He's been played on by 2 people. I don't know what he's doing, Connor. Once it gets to him, put your foot through it. He's not confident at all. Look. Oh my gosh.
You just mentioned it a moment ago, Clinton. A striker in form puts that away.
Definitely.
Amdouni tried to take an unnecessary touch, and he stood on the ball, which then forced him to put the brakes on, and that allowed the defenders to get back. But he's edge of the 6-yard box, goal at his mercy. How many more chances like that will Vincent Kompany's team get tonight? Still 0-0 for now.
You're right, Connor. It's a big opportunity. You don't come here and create chances, but I did tell you about Tottenham's defence. It's one ball through the heart of their defence causes problem.
Here comes Johnson. Maybe a bit of a wake-up call there for Spurs. Gives it back to Emerson. A few groans from Tottenham fans who wanted Brennan Johnson to go forward there, not to retreat. Emerson gives it to Kulusevski, right up against the choke of the touchline on the far side. Porro tried to dummy it. Delcroix was behind him, and good defending from Delcroix. Played the ball off Porro, and therefore it's out for a goal kick. Goal kick to Burnley, away to our left-hand side. 28 minutes on the big stadium clock, 0-0.
You can see why Burnley have been struggling this season, though, Connor. And that was someone who doesn't look in good form. Last season in the Championship, he puts that in the back of the net. So big opportunities they're missing. You don't get that much opportunities here.
Burnley, who have only scored 20 goals in the Premier League this season, they've averaged 1 per game so far, and they haven't scored at all in 8 of their Premier League matches this campaign. Still, I think Vincent Kompany will be pleased. They are creating 1 or 2 chances tonight.
Yeah, that big round of applause, Connors, for Mickey van de Ven. He's just gone out and warmed up down there. So I think it's the biggest cheer we've heard all night.
Mickey van de Ven, who hasn't played since early November. He has been a revelation coming into the team. The Dutchman started all of Tottenham's first 11 games this season. And you could almost draw a line from where Tottenham's brilliant start hit a speed bump was the moment Mickey van de Ven went off injured, and that was the turning point.
1,000,000%, you're
Amazing.
spot on. You're right. Him and Maddison, when they both went off, you're spot on, Connor.
Here is Zaroury, midway inside the Tottenham half. There's a Spurs player down slow to get back to his feet. Zaroury's pass is wayward anyway, and the ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw in. Lo Celso, he's the player who's down, Giovanni Lo Celso, who's had a fair few injury problems, and it doesn't look good on the replay, does it? it's stamped down on him by Vitinho, who lands on the player on the ground. That doesn't look great.
Do you know what it was, Connor? He did the drag back and his feet were still in the air, and then he came down on Lo Celso. So, VAR not looking at that. It's pure accidental.
It was Aaron Ramsey,
You're right, Connor.
21-22, but it was Aaron Ramsey who came down on him. £12 million signing from Aston Villa in August. And Mickey van der Vet is on our monitors at the moment, going through his stretches and warm-up routines down there. Got his first senior caps for the Netherlands earlier on this season too, and he'll be hoping to play in the Euros in the summer. Here comes Lo Celso. Now, he's recovered from that knock because he's away and sprinting again. He has it in the centre circle. He knew Kulusevski was in space to his right, and he's managed to hook it out towards the Swede. Now back into Bentancur. White shirt streaming forward for Spurs. Has a little look, plays the ball in. Header missed by Vitinho, and Brennan Johnson just can't catch a break. I think he thought the defender was going to get that in front of him. He didn't expect it to come through. Brennan Johnson, who really needs a goal to get these Tottenham fans on side with him. He's onside here, the ball comes in, but he swung his boot at it and skewed it away off target.
You're right, Connor, never looked comfortable. Porro played a great ball in, and he's trying to lash at it, and he gets it all wrong. You are right, he's not as confident as he should be at the moment.
A lot of money spent on Brennan Johnson, a player who looks so impressive in a often struggling Nottingham Forest team last season. And scored a lot of goals in Forest Red too. Brennan Johnson, just one Tottenham goal so far. That came against Wolves in November. He's been unlucky. I remember being at the Newcastle game here in December when he hit the woodwork twice. But Brennan Johnson needs to catch a break here, and in the absence of Son, he's been playing on the left-hand side of the Tottenham attack, and he has seen a lot of the ball in this first half. 0-0 between Spurs and Burnley. Burnley get it back on the left-hand side, but easily mopped up by Emerson, who rolls it back to Vicario. And again, they try to play it out, and it looks so high risk. This is on a tightrope stuff. They do lose it brief, though. They lose it a second time. Tottenham on the edge of the penalty area. Ben Davis, the latest to get it back, and now Udogie surely will just clear this away. No, it's a little short pass. They are absolutely sticking to their guns, and you can't criticise it because it does produce exciting stuff, and they do score so many goals, but it is heart-attack stuff on occasions if you're a Tottenham fan on the edge of your own penalty area like that.
Agree, Connor. Listen, it's the way Ange wants to play, and I think the fans and the players are going to get used to it. They're always going to keep you on the edge of your seats with the way they play out from the back, but it's what he believes in and what he trusts. 10
years since Tottenham last lost a third-round tie. It was a North London derby. They were beaten by Arsenal this month, 2014. Here's Lo Celso, nice footwork there to get away from Aaron Ramsey, and then to the edge of the penalty area. Darren O'Shea's the last defender, and he clears away for Burnley. Tottenham come again, relentless at times from Postecoglou's team. Lo Celso out to Porro on the right hand side, nice shortcut back to Kulusevski, then his return to Lo Celso was over pushed. Lo Celso's done well to keep it alive, then he's caught by a challenger to the tee. Looked like a foul by Cullen. The referee was very close to it though and says no, and Burnley are able to clear the ball away only as far as Udogie, and Spurs will come again. He plays it off the shins of Zaruri, and that goes out for a throw into Tottenham on the left-hand side.
Well, if he didn't get him, Cullen, he would have been a second yellow card, and it would have been a free kick in a dangerous position. So I think the referee got it right there.
Josh Cullen's stats were very good last season. The Championship, won more possession than any other player, had the most successful passes of any Burnley player. But this is a different level now against Premier League opposition in the FA Cup tonight for Burnley. Lo Celso's challenged by Aaron Ramsey, whose tackle serves as a back pass and sends it all the way back to Harry Muric away to our left-hand side. After this, by the way, Tottenham's next game, they travel to play Manchester United in the Premier League. That's next weekend. It's a Sunday match. Then Brentford are the next visitors here to the Tottenham Stadium in the league. Burnley, they host Luton in their next game. That's a week on Monday. And then Vincent Kompany has an emotional one for him. He goes back to the Etihad. It's Manchester City away for Burnley and the former Manchester City captain. Here comes Brennan Johnson for Spurs, hoping to get a break in the deadlock ahead of half-time, but it's not a great cross from Johnson. He just a little skip and a hop at the end of his run there to suggest that he is as frustrated as anyone, that it's not quite going for him here.
Yeah, he just looks like there you're thinking, just go and square up O'Shea in the box, go and take him into the box, but it looks like he's short of confidence at the moment. As I said, once he gets that goal, we'll start seeing him back to his best.
Burnley have only had one win in the last 6 games, but that one victory did come here in London. They beat Fulham. That was the last visit to the capital. Johnson again. No, that's not the right option. Played it outside of Udogie, and the groans and the murmurs reverberate around Tottenham Stadium as Brennan Johnson just doesn't quite get the right decision there.
And that's what I'm saying. He's in two minds. It just looks like his confidence. We know he's such a talented individual, but in that situation, the ball wasn't on for Udogie. He'd made a run and took 2 defenders away. Drive into the box and get your shot away, like he did earlier when Muric made a really good save.
0-0 at the moment. Both teams could still be going through. Tottenham, whose last major trophy was the 2008 League Cup. Burnley's last major honour, the league title in 1960. As Bentancur has done well to hold on to possession. He's had some great touches tonight. Skip has got a real vigour about him. He was clearly fouled there, but he got up and he sprinted after the ball, and the referee allowed play to continue. And then after all that, he played a poor pass, but industrious from Oliver Skip, who's looking to impress tonight.
He wanted the free kick, Connor. That's why he played that bad ball.
He's playing the Basuma role
Yes.
this evening, and Papishara and Basuma both away. Oliver Skip, who has only had 2 Premier League starts this season, he makes a lot of substitute appearances, but he'll want to do well in this start in the FA Cup tonight.
Yeah, he knows these are the opportunities he's going to get with Basuma and Sarr being away, so it's a big opportunity for him. And listen, Bentancur's come back, got Højbjerg on the bench as well, so they do have a few options in that midfield position now. Bentancur's back, but you will miss Basuma and Sarr, who've been outstanding this season so far.
10 minutes, just less to go until half-time. Muric comes way out of his penalty area to take this Burnley free kick. Tottenham with that high line they always hold, forcing Burnley to not be able to creep too deep into their own half. Porro looks like he's fouled as he goes across. Referee says no. Porro went down, ball went out of play. Porro wanted a free kick. Referee said throw into Burnley. They've taken it quickly. Charlie Taylor unable to get much room. I have to say Kulusevski's worked very hard tonight, getting back, supporting Porro, and Charlie Taylor, who likes to come forward, he supplies more crosses than any other Burnley player. He's not been able to do so tonight.
No, that's the one thing with Kulusevski. He works hard defensively and he's brilliant going forward as well. He causes problems, but Tottenham haven't got the ball much to him in this first half. We haven't really mentioned him as much as we should do, because I think he's their key player now. Son's gone.
Yeah, Kulusevski, who's an absolute machine. He missed the win over Bournemouth on New Year's Eve. First time he'd missed a game after a run of 44 in a row in all competitions. Great engine. I mean, even he got that facial injury, no problem, put on a mask, still play, still score goals. Throw in for Burnley, halfway line, far side of the field from us. The left-hand side as Burnley come forward in their claret and blue. Burnley fans housed away to the left-hand side, lower tier. That's the end that their team are defending in this first half. They'll be at the end that their team attack in the second period. Porro's ball up towards Kulusevski is intercepted by Delcroix. Burnley put a few passes together, out to Odegaard on the left wing. He pushes one in front of Lyle Foster, but Emerson's able to sweep across, and Emerson very comfortable in that right full-back position. Gave a rather soft back pass to Vicario, and Vicario to slide out with his feet, even though it was inside the penalty area, and clear the ball away. And Vicario's given an earful to Emerson there, and that might be the first time that he said, all right, don't just play it out, just boom it away. Down the other end, Muric. Ball low into the midfield to Zaroury, the Moroccan international. As Taylor's under pressure here for the energetic Kulusevski. Taylor's done well to do a little chop turn on him. Kulusevski's not giving up though. Sprinting back, it's a roar from the Tottenham fans as he makes sure that Charlie Taylor can't counter-attack there. Burnley back inside their own penalty area. Muric, ambitious little chip of a clearance towards Zaroury, who's fouled by Bentancur. Free kick to Burnley midway inside their own half. Tottenham 0, Burnley 0. This is 5 Live for the BBC FA Cup third round weekend. On this Friday night in North London, it is very much 0-0 between these two.
Yeah, it is. And listen, I said when Tottenham were on top, they maybe should have took their chances. But really, I think Burnley have had the best chance of the day. The half so far with the Amdoni chance. I can't believe he's not hit the target there, Con. I'm still sitting there, and I know it was probably about 10 minutes ago thinking, wow, that'll be playing on his mind.
Wolves, who've been playing with 10 men away at Brentford in the earlier kick-off this evening, and at the GTEC Stadium there's been another goal. Chris Temple.
What an equaliser for 10-man Wolves, scored by Manchester City loanee Tommy Doyle from 20 yards. It broke to him from a corner, left-footed shot, arrowed into the top right-hand corner. Wolves have had 10 men since 9 minutes in. They're level after 64, 1-1.
Wolves, who were knocked out at this stage last season, they were beaten by Liverpool after a replay, but that's very impressive away from home to come back with 1-1, and remember, if it stays like that, it would be a replay back in Molineux. That was a 7:15 kickoff earlier on this evening. Fulham still leading Rotherham at Craven Cottage. They've just got underway in the second half there. Fulham 1, Rotherham 0 here at Tottenham Stadium. Just over 5 minutes of normal time to go until the break. Every single one of Tottenham's outfield players are inside the Burnley half. Emerson now just has to turn and retreat back into his own territory and roll it back to Vicario, who started every Premier League game for Spurs this season. I wondered if Fraser Foster might get a run tonight, but Ange Postecoglou, you can see, wants to go through. He's picked his strongest available side. Brendan Johnson went down on the edge of the penalty area there, but he's going to get it back here. Johnson just outside the box, left-hand side, taking on Darragh O'Shea, and O'Shea stuck to the task, slid in within the byline, and was able to cut it out for a corner. Corner to Tottenham on the left-hand side. Clinton.
That's better. Go and commit him. Go and commit O'Shea. Go and take him one-on-one. You're good at it. We've known that's what you want to do. Go and take him on, and he does well, and it gives the crowd a big lift, and he does well to get the corner.
By the way, you can watch highlights of all the FA Cup games tomorrow and Sunday night. This match of the day, FA Cup highlights, both nights at 10:30 on BBC One. You can watch the Borough Villa game live tomorrow, tea time, on BBC One television as well. Here comes the Tottenham corner. Porro plays it in low trajectory, headed away by Charlie Taylor at the front post, and he got good distance on that, headed it almost up to the halfway line. So Burnley hanging on a little bit at times in this first half, but Muric has made the saves when he's called upon. Tottenham hoping that they'll get a clear opportunity ahead of the break. Kulusevski controls on the far side of the field from us, rolls it back to Emerson once again. Emerson, the Brazilian, into Ben Davies, who tries to chip it over the top to presumably a ghost, because no one's made a run down there, and that's harmlessly going to go out for a goal kick to Burnley.
I like that shout, Connor. Yeah, it wasn't the best ball from Ben Davies. I think he was looking for Lo Celso, just overhit it, but Burnley will be happy. Tottenham will be disappointing. 41 minutes gone, coming into the 42nd minute, because the chances they've had, they should be two or three up, but then at the same time, Burnley have had the best chance of the game.
Away from the football this weekend, Sports Extra has got Test match and Big Bash cricket, as well as NFL coverage on Sunday evening, and you get all the details of that on the BBC Sport website. This is Udogie for Tottenham with the yellow boots. It'll drag back to himself, rolls it into his own half. Udogie, who last month was rewarded with a new 6.5-year contract. That's how impressive he's been this campaign. He's become a very important piece of furniture at this very impressive stadium. Emerson, under a bit of pressure, plays it back to Vicario. Tottenham look to get going once again. I think an interesting factor in this game, Clinton, will be if this stays 0-0 into the second half, will the Tottenham crowd get on the back of Spurs a little bit, because they are very used to being entertained. They don't get many 0-0 since Ange Postecoglou's come to town.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll get on the back of them, but they'll get frustrated, Connor, and you've seen it before with a few passes that have gone backwards, that they want to get forward, but they understand where this team are going under Ange, and they have to understand the football that he wants to play.
This is the first time in the last 7 matches that Tottenham haven't scored inside the opening half hour. Udogie, that is great strength to hold off first Ramsey, then Foster, then do a little Ronaldo-type chop, and eventually Coutinho's had enough of that and he just hacks him down. And the Italian international, too hot to handle, free kick to Spurs, 10 yards outside the penalty area, left-hand side.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It's good strength. He held off Foster. Foster tried to make a tackle, and then Coutinho said, I'm not having any of this. Too much showboat in there, and just takes his leg away.
I think he was saying, I don't want to have to run and do a shoulder charge in Udogie. I'll just trip him. So, free kick to Spurs. It's outside of shooting range, but it's an opportunity for Porro here to swing one in. Burnley defenders are holding a line along the edge of the penalty area. 1 or 2 Tottenham players are blatantly in offside, just trying to have a presence. And as Porro prepares to swing it again, he raises that left arm, plays it in. Goalkeeper decided very early he was coming, and it's easy pickings for Ari Muric, who comes and gathers that.
He's brilliant. I think as a goalkeeper, when you decide to come, you've got to come and claim everything and take everything, and that's what he's done so far this evening. It's been really good.
Just mentioned some of the Tottenham players clearly standing in behind the defenders there. Did you see the Man United Villa game a few weeks back? There was a boxing
Leon Bailey.
day. Leon Bailey,
Yeah.
in around I'm surprised other teams haven't tried that. When I saw that, I thought everyone's going to be doing that now.
And you know what he said? I seen him do an interview. They said, "What was you saying to her?" No. He was singing that. Oh no. That's what he's singing to him. I thought it was brilliant. He said, and then Anana said, "You can't sing." He said he knows, and he carried on walking off. I thought it was brilliant.
Here's a chance. Zaroury for Burnley, way outside the penalty area. Tried to put the laces through it, but skidded away off his right boot and away off target. Vincent Kompany applauds the attempt anyway. Burnley haven't had a proper chance at Vicario's goal for some time in the game, so that was just a little reminder. As down goes Vitinho looking for a free kick. Referee's not interested. Burnley still have possession anyway. Odegaard into the D. Foster tried to bring it with him, but there's too many white-shirted Tottenham defenders around him. And now a chance to break if Bentancur can hold off Odegaard here. He's done well, but he's been bogged in a bit of traffic, and he's all round the world turns and everything for Bentancur. Free kick to Spurs. I'm with you, Clinton. That would have been more advantageous for them if they were allowed to play on.
It definitely is a great little drag back from Bentancur, and the ball went to Richarlison.
And here is the Brazilian again. We've moved into stoppages. Just the 1 minute to be added on. I can't remember the last game I went to that only had 1 minute. Cross from Kulusevski into the penalty area is cut out by Cullen. Burnley will try to relieve a bit of pressure. Nice footwork from Amdouni. Now can he pick out the pass? No. Fails to hit Zaroury. Emerson makes the interception. Tottenham looking in control at the moment, but still 0-0.
And they look a threat. Andoni and Foster can cause problems. Zaroury, Odegaard on that left-hand side. They do have players that can cause problems. It's just at the moment, when they get into that final third, wrong pass or decision-making not good enough, Connor.
Johnson back to Ben Davis, all the way back to Vicario. Tottenham have won 4 of their last 5 games. That injury list is beginning to ever so slightly reduce. I mean, it's still enormous, but Mickey van der Ven back on the bench today for the first time in a long time. Alejo Veliz, the latest to join the walking wounded. Good challenge by Vitinho on Brennan Johnson again, and it's just not happening for Brennan Johnson. He's unable to beat the fullback again as the referee blows the whistle for half-time. So Johnson, who had more shots in that first half than anyone else, but 0-0 at the break, and Vincent Kompany, I'm sure, in that changing room will be telling his team, come on, this is a game we could go and win, even though it's away against Spurs.
Yeah, because they've had the best chance of the game. Andoni with a great opportunity which he put over the bar, and Tottenham have dominated possession and created chances, but they've had a good goalkeeper in Muric and good defending that's kept them out. And obviously we see Brennan Johnson with the most shots. It's been frustrating for him, but he's got to keep believing because, as I said, he's a talented individual.
No goals, but plenty of goal-mouth action. 2 teams who've been trying their best to go on the attack. It's made it entertaining, but for now it's Tottenham 0, Burnley 0.
Thanks, Connor. Chris says on social media, Clinton, as a Spurs fan, this game against Burnley is exactly the banana skin we typically fall on, and you're not. I mean, the front 3 for Spurs in the first half all had nice moments without ever really looking like they were going to score.
Yeah, they dominated possession, but they just couldn't. Yeah, it's the final touch. This is where they are going to miss someone like Son, because Son gives you that X factor when the game's a bit flat and you're creating chances. He's the one. But you're thinking as well, Richarlison's been in good form. He's had 2 great opportunities on his left foot, but he never looked confident when he was going through. So they've got to keep believing. And as I said, Burnley have got an outside chance. They've created the best chance of the game and missed it.
Do you know, the biggest concern I've got for Burnley is when they're in possession at their restart with the goalkeeper. That seems to be the biggest cause of concern. Whether he throws it out and can't quite get it as far as he wants to, he's quite happy to put the ball at risk, isn't he, Muric?
Yeah, listen, I've seen that all season with Burnley where they play out from the back, and I think don't do it, especially with teams that like Tottenham that want to press high. Just go back to front. You can miss it out, and Muric is good enough to dink it into Foster, and then you can get up the pitch. But you're right, but he has also been good. I think he's made a few big saves and he's been positive. When you're under pressure, Fletch, you need your goalkeeper to come, and Muric has done that and collected crosses.
Clinton, thank you. Have a rest for a few minutes.
Cheers,
Clinton
mate.
Alongside Conor McNamara for the second half. 0-0 between Tottenham and Burnley. The best chance of the first half fell to Burnley's Amdouni, but 0-0 with the second half to come. Let's update the game at Brentford tonight. Brentford against Wolves. Chris Temple.
17 minutes to go, Darren. Brentford 1, Wolves 1. Wolves coming back into it in the second half despite that early red card for João Gomez. Brentford against the 10 men took the lead 5 minutes before half-time. Neil Maupay hammering it into the top left corner with his left foot after a corner broke down to him. But Wolves came out with renewed vigour in the second half. The tactical changes that Gary O'Neill made to his 10-man lineup. They threw on Pedro Neto, of course, has been an assist machine for them before his injury. He was the one involved in the equaliser. His corner worked to the edge edge of the penalty area, and Tommy Doyle on loan from Man City, hammering it into the top left corner for his first Wolves go. Since then, we've had a couple of injury stoppages. Neither team has really managed to get on top. They won't want to replay, that's for sure, but with 16 minutes left, it's heading that way at the moment. Brentford 1, Wolves 1.
Fulham 1, Rotherham 0, a latest score. A rocket from Bobby D. Cordova-Reid. So second half commentary to come from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. News time on 5 Live now with the man who's hoping for a big result for Bolton this weekend against Luton, Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, good evening. 50 potential new victims of the Horizon post office scandal have come forward after ITV's drama All About It. Hundreds of post office workers were wrongly convicted of false accounting and theft after faulty software made it look as if money was missing. Lee Castleton is among them. He told 5 Live the wait for compensation is very frustrating.
Post office should be nowhere near this. Government should be nowhere near this. It should be taken out of everyone's hands and put in an independent, compensation scheme where it can be dealt with properly and timely. People are waiting and waiting and waiting for things to change and things to happen, and all the time you're just being dragged from pillar to post, having to still prove your innocence.
A 49-year-old man has been charged over a series of shootings in Liverpool. Shots were fired at a shop, a cinema and a house on Wednesday night. Nobody was injured. Leslie Garrett is due before Liverpool Magistrates Court tomorrow. The former Tory Minister Chris Skidmore has resigned the Conservative whip in protest at the government's bill to introduce annual licensing rounds for North Sea oil and gas exploration. He says he'll resign as an MP when Parliament returns next week, meaning there'll be a by-election in his seat of Kingswood in Gloucestershire. President Biden's been making his first campaign speech ahead of the election in November. No prizes for guessing who he's been talking about.
Let's be clear about the 2020 election. Trump exhausted every legal avenue available to him to overturn the election. Every one. But the legal path just took Trump back to the truth that I'd won the election and he was a loser.
He says Donald Trump, who's widely expected to be the Republican candidate, is willing to sacrifice democracy for power. And Delia Smith says she's saddened that Ipswich Town haven't apologised after her car was hit by a can of lager outside their ground. People chanted scum and a can struck the bonnet as the Norwich City co-owner arrived for a derby match at Portman Road last month.
On BBC iPlayer.
I was in the Australian Outback, searching for answers.
Do you have any idea what it's like to wake up and realise there's no idea where you've been?
Now I'm back in Ireland, a place that should be full of happy memories.
Some things are best left buried.
What did I do?
Wherever he is, I think that he's in trouble.
We will find your man, okay?
There's something that I want, something I've been looking for.
Home is where the hurt is.
Maybe it's time you find out who you really are.
The new series of The Tourist. Watch all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Darren Fletcher.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
So half-time at Tottenham, 0-0 between Spurs and Burnley in the FA Cup third round. Second half commentary with Connor and Clinton to come in a few minutes' time. But I'm delighted to say that the Eastleigh manager, Richard Hill, joins us on the programme now. His team taking on Newport in the FA Cup third round tomorrow. Good evening, Richard.
Good evening, Darren.
How are you?
Fantastic, thank you.
Good. Excited about tomorrow, I'm sure. And you're at home at the moment, so it's travel on the day, I presume.
Yeah, it's... You still got to watch the pennies even at this round. We don't get the ability to be able to take out the hotel costs out of the gate receipts, so we still have to watch the pennies, and we've decided to go the day of the game.
What's the mindset then amongst the squad? They must be looking forward to it for a start. 17 league places, I think it is, between the teams, between Newport and yourselves. A positive attitude, I'm sure, and everybody, I'm sure, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, they are. They've been good this week, which I'd have been disappointed if they hadn't been. They've come in quite bubbly. We've been a bit fortunate that we didn't have to play last weekend. We only played on the Monday. So we played one less game than Newport in that respect. But the lads came in on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and they've been quite bubbly and quite bright. And as I say, I'd be disappointed if they weren't. And they're all excited for the game, and so they should be. It's the third round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, I mean, you must be confident too, based on what's happened in the competition for you already to this point as well. It's always nice to get those building blocks in place, I presume.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're as confident as you can be, but you've also got to be respectful of your opposition. Like I'm sure Newport are respectful of us. And I think we have to enter into the game with a positive mind, in a confident frame of mind, and go from there. But it's no foregone conclusion that we're going to go there and cause an upset. Likewise, it's no foregone conclusion that Newport are going to beat us. But as I've said in all football matches, if we've got 8, 9, 10 of our players playing well, we've got every chance, just like we did against Reading. All our players played well that day. If we turn up tomorrow and we've only got 4 or 5 players playing well, then we won't win.
Is that significant, the fact that you've beaten Reading before, that the team know that they've got it in them to win the match and they've got the confidence to go and do it because they've done it before, they've got the experience?
I think it's a different type of game. Obviously, I genuinely think it's a harder game tomorrow than the Reading game. I hate saying it that Reading was possibly a shot to nothing because nobody gave us a chance. I don't like saying that because you should enter into every game with a positive mind, having to try and win it. But Newport have had that experience. They beat Oldham, they beat Barnet, so they're knowing what to expect from ourselves, whereas I'm not sure Reading actually knew what to expect from the National League, from a National League team that like to get in your face, like to have a go at you. And we got good players in our team, players with league experience. And I think, I'm not saying Reading underestimated us, but I just think that they turned up on the day not knowing what to expect. And I think that was the little bit of an advantage we had on that day.
What's your experience in the competition, Richard? Highs and lows?
I've said years ago when Stuart Donald employed me and he told me he wanted a cup run, I said to him, if you want a cup run, don't employ me. I'm the worst person for a cup run. Me, as a player, the furthest I got was to the 4th round, and I think that was with Oxford, and we got beat by Manchester United at Old Trafford. And then as a coach, it was assistant manager to Brian Little when we went to the quarterfinals. And got beat by Millwall in a replay in the quarterfinals. So, no, my history in the FA Cup, this as a manager, this is the furthest I've been. I'm pretty pleased with that, and I'm the 3rd manager in the club's history to get to the 3rd round of the FA Cup. So I'm in a small group there, and that I'm proud of. And it'd be good tomorrow for the football club to get to the 4th round because there'll be a group of players there that in the history of the football club, it'll be the furthest they've ever got, and that'll be something for them to hang on to.
Absolutely. Richard, we wish you and the team well tomorrow. Good luck, and let's hope you're in the hat for round 4.
Brilliant. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Darren. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. That's Richard Hill, who's the manager of Eastleigh. They've got Newport away tomorrow. They beat Reading in the previous round, and it could be an historic day for them if they can get the victory and earn a place in the 4th round of the competition. Now, one of the great FA Cup ties of the weekend, which you'll be able to hear live on 5 Live, sees Middlesbrough host Aston Villa. Steve Crossman caught up with the Middlesbrough manager Michael Carrick ahead of the match earlier this week.
Yeah, there is certainly something about the North East, the passion, the love for football, that kind of release that football kind of gives a lot of people is clear, and the emotion with it that comes over on a Saturday afternoon. You can see it, you can feel it, and certainly from going through it myself over the years, very much appreciate it. Yeah.
What's like the first FA Cup memory that's kind of clear for you in your mind?
I remember watching Tottenham Coventry, Keith Houchin diving header. 88.
Oh wow!
Remember that one? Liverpool Everton, Ian Rush. Remember that? The thing is, FA Cup finals were huge. Still are. The world's changed a lot, but the FA Cup final weekend was the standout game in the whole year, really. And the competition itself is a thing of beauty about it, I think, and a magic. And because of growing up, it was so big. That's carried me all the way through. The crazy experiences that teams get that they shouldn't get because they've come from way kind of down below the football ladder to who they're playing against, and you only get it in this competition, so it's too good to lose, you know.
What's it like to win the FA Cup?
The Champions League's the best feeling I've ever had, winning the Champions League. I'm fortunate to do it in that way, and that was an incredible feeling, and that I probably would never ever get again because it was kind of so unique. But the FA Cup, because I'd missed out a couple of times, lost the final, lost a couple of semi-finals, and it was always one, going back when I was a kid, was a standout, and I was always fortunate enough being at United. You always felt that. The history tells you they've won quite a lot. We never really got it, so I ended up having to wait quite a long time to win it, and then my children were old enough to really appreciate it, which some of the other trophies I'd won, they weren't quite old enough to kind of understand it. So it was a real kind of real sense of achievement and satisfaction that I didn't necessarily get from the other ones, and mainly it was probably to do with my children being there and being able to enjoy it with them.
So that's Michael Carrick, and you'll be able to watch that match on BBC One tomorrow from 5:25. Your 5 live commentaries tomorrow are Sunderland Newcastle at 12:45. The 3 o'clock game is Gillingham against Sheffield United, but we can move to where the story is. And then Middlesbrough against Villa from 5:30. The build-up's at 12, and it's presented by Steve Crossman. And there's a special Football Daily podcast episode all about Middlesbrough, which you can download now via the BBC Sounds app. Steve's gone behind the scenes at the club and speaks to Michael Carrick and midfielder Matt Crooks as well. Closing stages now at Brentford, heading for a replay. The last time we were there, Chris Temple.
Still is at the moment, Darren. 1-1 between Brentford and Wolves with 5 minutes to go. Brentford have just been inching their way deeper into Wolves territory as the 10 men sit back a little bit. Shandon Baptiste miscuing a good opportunity for Brentford in the penalty area a moment ago. But still Wolves carrying some sort of threat here as well. Both teams chasing a late winner. Remember, Wolves have had 10 men since the 9th minute after João Gomes was sent off. 1-1.
OK, so 0-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, playing for a place in the 4th round of the FA Cup. The teams are on the way out. Let's rejoin Clinton Morrison, who's alongside Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Darren. Yeah, Tottenham have been sent back out early. They are going through little warm-up routines down on the pitch. Even Ange Postecoglou's out in the technical area. No sign of Burnley yet, who are about to make their entrance ahead of a big second 45 minutes now with this FA Cup 3rd round tie still in the balance. Josh Cullen now leading his teammates down the tunnel and back out onto the pitch. So Brennan Johnson, who had the most shots at goal of any player on the pitch in the first half, but couldn't beat Ari Muric in the Burnley goal. Will we get an early breakthrough? It's a cup tie, Clinton, that needs a goal now.
Yeah, it does need a goal. We don't do nil-nils, Connor. No, it needs a goal, and we had enough chances in that first half. So hopefully, create more chances, and some can be taken.
So we wait for the restart. It's a sign of how good the food is on the concourse that so many of the seats are empty at the start of the second half. People away enjoying the.
We enjoyed ours, didn't we?
We did. Producer Rob Nuthman gave us lovely biscuits.
Oh, he always does. He always produces
quality.
Rob, top drawer.
No January diets around here.
Me and him walked the stairs, so we kind of some calories. Yeah. But it was a struggle getting up. When we got to the 3rd, I said, "Are we there yet?" He said, "No, we got to go to the 5th." I said, should have took the lift.
I feel I'm being shamed for taking the lift.
Nah, you're fitter than us. You're good.
Right, Burnley are going to make a change at the break. Vincent Kompany. He's taking off Lyle Foster. Foster's, who's been a decent run of form lately, scored against Aston Villa in the most recent game, but he is replaced for the second period by Jakob Brun Larsen, the Danish international winger, who is going to come on. So that will force a little bit of a change of formation, and we'll have a look to see which way they're going to line up. Though at the moment, Larsen, who normally plays as a winger, is up top. He's alongside Zeki Amdouni, so it'll be interesting to see if he holds on to that. First taste of the FA Cup for Jakob Brun Larsen. He hasn't played in this competition before. He's on loan from Hoffenheim. They did sort of a swap. Wout Weghorst went the other way in the summer, who was still a Burnley player, and Larsen came to the Premier League. So he's alongside Amdouni. Tottenham playing from left to right now as we look down on the pitch. Kulusevski comes in with a nice accurate ball to Lo Celso. Now onto Oliver Skipp, level with the edge of the penalty area that Tottenham attack down the right-hand side. Back to Porro. First touch into Kulusevski. First touch back to Porro. Makes a burst for the byline. Good tracking back by Charlie Taylor. And it's a cup tie that picks up just where it left off. Tottenham with a flurry of attacking passes, but not able to get the final one into the box.
Yeah, you're right. I think Tottenham's fullbacks are crucial in the second half. Porro and then Doggy. Because everything does go through them. The inverted little fullback going into midfield, they do cause problems.
Come on, you Spurs, is the very audible song from the home fans. There's Lo Celso under pressure from Odegaard. Retreats back into his own half, and it's sent all the way back to the Tottenham goalkeeper Vicario. A big pressing run in on him by Larsson. Vicario slips as he clears it away, and it's been picked up here by Aaron Ramsey in the midfield. Burnley tried to come on the attack back into the box again. Cullen, clever ball out to the right hand side. Vitinho is offside, and he shouldn't have been. He had enough space and time there to adjust, and now he's got to get back because Tottenham take the free kick quickly. Brennan Johnson sprinting away down that left wing. The right back, Vitinho's out of position. Low ball in by Brennan Johnson, but he can't pick out Richarlison, and Burnley breathe again. Well, it's end-to-end, Clinton.
It is, and that's what you're going to see Brennan Johnson committing O'Shea there.
This is Kulusevski winning it back for Spurs into the penalty area. 1-2 with Richarlison. Step over Kulusevski, tries to cross, and it clips away off Delcroix, and out for a Tottenham corner on the right-hand side, 0-0. Taken quickly, no time to breathe here. Kulusevski gets it back from Porro into the penalty area, pulled it back to the penalty spot. This is Lo Celso, and it's a shot that's punched away with 2 fists by Muric, and the ball out of the penalty area, and a flurry of attacking chances there. The shot, which I wonder, was it actually creeping inside the post? Muric had to be sure.
He had to be sure, and he done the right thing. If you can't catch it, then parry it away. But you're right, Connor, it's end to end. I couldn't come in there because everything was going on. But yeah, really good start from Tottenham in the second half, again, like the first half.
Vincent Kompany is standing out there with both his arms upstretched. I think he wants width here. He wants his wide players to get out as far as they can on either touchline. Muric prepares to take the free kick inside the Burnley half. A few boos from the home fans who think that Burnley might be wasting time this early in the second period. It's cleared away by Bentancur, comes down for Delcroix. His header on the halfway line goes straight up into the air. Ramsey's header straight to Brennan Johnson. Rapid changeover of possession 3 or 4 times there, but eventually Spurs get it back with Ben Davies, and that's a calming pass infield to Bentancur. Skips away from Aaron Ramsey, but can't get the pass to Davies, and out it goes for a throw-in. And Burnley was sure it was a throw-in for them, but the assistant, who on the far side is Mark Scholes, says it's a throw-in to the home team. 48 minutes on the big stadium clocks. Emerson comes over the halfway line for Spurs. 0-0, FA Cup third round, 5 live on the BBC. Ball in towards Richarlison, tries to get the little flick on, comes back to him a second time. If he had got the flick on, Brennan Johnson was unmarked behind, but he didn't, and it's a free kick for offside in Burnley's favour.
Yeah, I thought he should have got the flick on, but I think he was offside for the initial pass from Kulusevski.
Here come Burnley down the other end. It's been nothing if not end to end. Odegaard into the penalty area, but Emerson sweeps across. Not the first time he's done that tonight, using his speed, sprinting in front of the attacking player and bringing the ball away. And now Kulusevski, who was inside his own half when that was played to him, so he can't be offside. Skip claims that he's been held onto by Delcroix as he tries to make a run ahead. Kulusevski still has it, gives it into Richarlison, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Tried to free Lo Celso on the far side. Kulusevski's the latest to pick it up. He shoots, and there was plenty bend on the shot, but not enough to hit the top corner. And it's wide, and a goal kick to Burnley, and it's Tottenham 0, Burnley 0.
Yeah, they're pushing. It was good hold-up play from Richarlison, and then he gets it back to him, and it's an easy ball, but it gets cut out. Comes back to Kulusevski, and I'm thinking, can he find that top corner? But it was he curled it. There was lots of bend on it, went high and wide, to be fair.
Kulusevski, who has got 2 goals in the last month or so, he scored against Manchester City, that late equaliser for the 3-3 game. Scored against Nottingham Forest as well. And he remains one of the big threats for Tottenham in the second half. Good ball, Bentancur out to Kulusevski again. Charlie Taylor is the defender, trying to show him the outside. Kulusevski comes inside, Taylor gets back across to make the block. That's really good defending by Taylor, and as the ball came in there was a few Tottenham players offside, but Muric caught it anyway. He bowls it out underarm to Amdouni, who's got support from Zaroury. Back infield again to Josh Cullen. This is inside the centre circle. He passes to the left-hand side. There's been a few moments from Burnley where they've looked really good. Odegaard, back to Cullen, sets himself up to hit this, but it was miles out, and it's wide of the target. He kept it low, but he couldn't get it straight.
Yeah, it's good play from Burnley. This is end-to-end. Odegaard plays a good ball to Cullen, but he's never going to beat Vicario from there, Connor, because Vicario, for me, has been one of the best goalkeepers of the season so far, and it was a strike where he cut across it, and it just went wide of the post. It was a good opportunity.
2 seasons ago, when Burnley were last to the Premier League, they beat Tottenham at Turf Moor, that relegation campaign. Ben Mee, now of Brentford, scored the winning goal. I believe they're still playing at Brentford tonight, 1-1 against 10-man Wolves in the FA Cup. They'll be in stoppages right at the end of the game there. 6 minutes 6 minutes played in the second half here, and a free kick to Burnley wide on the right-hand side. Tottenham have had to bring everyone back to defend this. All the defenders are up forward for Burnley. And again, it's a high line being held by Ange Postecoglou's defence. Here's the in-swinger. Vicario could step into that space behind the defenders, and he catches the ball above his head, and he rolls it out in front of Emerson, who comes thundering up over the halfway line. He's got Kulusevski outside him, and all those Burnley defenders who were forward for the free kick now have to get back. Kulusevski gives it to Skip in the midfield, onto Bentancur, over to Udogie on the left-hand side, 12 yards outside the penalty area. He's got support from Brennan Johnson. Johnson back into a central location to Bentancur once again. Burnley have got all their bodies back behind the ball. Tottenham just a little stagnant in their transition there to try and get it up into attack. But Kulusevski picks out Porro, lashes in across, loads of power on that. Bentancur's able to control it, and he hits the half volley, and it spins away over the top. Burnley shouldn't have allowed him take that down in the penalty area, but relief for Vincent Kompany as Bentancur's shot is too high. Still 0-0.
Yeah, for how in the first half everything was going down the left, this side is Porro and Kulusevski. They're getting them into the game, but Burnley are defending well, Connor, defending in their numbers, and as you say, fell to Bentancur. He was never set to get the shot away.
Long clearance by Muric, too high for Jakob Brun-Larsen. Tottenham get it back again with their goalkeeper Vicario away to our left-hand side. Tottenham's last FA Cup win 33 years ago, the most recent of eight FA Cup victories. Only Arsenal and Manchester United have won this competition more often than Spurs. They have a very, very proud history, but so too do Burnley. If you look back through the record books, Burnley have been a big part of the FA Cup story. And Odegaard tries to attack down the left-hand side. Sliding across was Ben Davies, who covers the left-hand side of the defence, but he was across to the right there to hook that ball away, and out for a throw-in to the visitors. This is just in front of technical area. Vincent Kompany down there in his squeaky clean white trainers. Ball back to Delcroix. Taylor nearly ran the ball out of play, just about stayed on the field for him. Kulusevski's going to get it back here for Spurs. Bentancur had a look, tried to see where Brennan Johnson was, played it early. Richarlison could be in here. Good acceleration by Delcroix. Got back there first to touch it to the goalkeeper, and Muric with the right-footed clearance sends it back over the halfway line once again. Still Tottenham continue this almost metronomic attack. They come again and again and again. That's a great ball by Porro into Lo Celso, just outside the D. Now he needs a few options here. A few touches close to his body. Waits for some space to come. Udogie helps it onto Johnson in the penalty area. He's always trying to get it onto his right boot, and he gets a shot on target, Brennan Johnson, but it's comfortably saved by Ari Muric, the Burnley goalkeeper.
Yeah, Lo Celso's on the edge of the box, and they always try to play it intricate, and you can hear the fans have a shot, but he does well there. Brennan Johnson comes in, and Doggy makes a good run. It's a comfortable save from Muric. It's got to be low and hard to beat him.
Clearance by Muric up over the halfway line again. I'm not sure this tactic of playing it high to Jakob Brun-Larsen. I don't think his strengths are winning it in the air.
I think someone needs to tell Muric that Foster's gone off.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They don't have that target man presence at the moment. Right, it has all finished in the GTEC Community Stadium. Brentford against Wolves. Here's Chris Temple.
And it's a replay. Brentford 1, Wolves 1. It's finished here. Full credit to Wolves, who played 81 minutes of the game with 10 men after João Gomez's early red card for a challenge on Christian Norgard. Brentford took the lead 5 minutes before half-time. Neil Maupay's crisp left-footed finish, but a stunning equaliser from Tommy Doyle after 64 minutes levelled it up for Wolves. It means, of course, the teams were due a 2-week break. They've got a replay to fit in there now as well. Full-time in West London. Brentford 1, Wolves 1.
Thanks very much, Chris. Good performance from Wolves, who were down to 10 men from very early. Here, Tottenham have had a real chance. Kulusevski running across the edge of the penalty area from right to left, and he, in the end, tried to leave it for a teammate rather than take the shot on himself, and Burnley were relieved that he did so. That's unfortunate for Amdouni. Slips as he tried to pivot 180 degrees and spark a counter-attack. Spurs get it back inside the Burnley half. Here's Clinton Morrison.
Hold on.
Hang on, Porro, chance to cross on the right-hand side. He got a moment to steady himself there. Johnson on the back post, hits it down into the turf. Not the clean connection, not the easiest technique in the world, but Brennan Johnson needs one of those to fly into the roof of the net.
You're right, because he scuffs it into the ground, and you're thinking sometimes they're the best things, Connor. But yeah, it's a good ball from Porro. What Spurs have to be careful is because the fans are getting frustrated, they're pushing a lot of men forward. All it takes is for Burnley to break. If Amdouni there hadn't slipped, they were in on goal, but he's got to keep believing, Brennan Johnson. As I said, the chances are falling to him. He's not taking them, but one will go in eventually for him.
Tottenham, who have scored in their last 32 Premier League games in a row, which equals the club record, but they can't get the goal against Burnley here at home. It is 0-0 at the moment. A back heel by Taylor, taken over the halfway line by Cullen, up to Larsson. One of the first times he's got the ball at his feet since coming on as a half-time substitute. Runs to the edge of the area, tried to pull it back there for Amdouni, but it clipped the heel of a defender. Burnley have managed to keep it moving. Odegaard, but they're coming back from an offside position. Flag was raised, ref didn't spot it for a moment, and that is a free kick.
No, it's because he's just raised it, Connor. I don't know why it took so long. Everyone could see it, and that's why the Burnley fans are having a go at him. I do believe that's the one thing that needs to change, that when they put the flag up. I just think one day someone's going to get a bad injury. Yeah. You don't want that to happen.
Well, it's happened already, isn't it? But
yes, it has. Yeah, you're right.
The only devil's advocate in is, I remember being game, Spurs-Man City, where at the very end of the match, Haaland played it forward to Grealish, and the referee didn't see him, and they blew immediately. Yeah. And that's one of those where if they did wait just a moment to see what happened, it would have been a goal.
Yeah, and we had a go at him for blowing early. So yeah, you're right.
This is the trouble.
It's one of those.
Yeah. Right. Another change for Vincent Kompany. He's going to bring on one of his regulars, Josh Brownhill, who scored against Tottenham the last time these sides met. He's Burnley's joint second highest scorer in the Premier League this season, and he comes on in place of Wilson Odegaard. So the teenager, who only turned 19 in November, will make way, and immediately the captain's armband is passed on to Josh Brownhill. And while they're making the change, Tottenham decide to do one as well. And Brian Hill, who's the sort of most ready to go of the attacking substitutes, because Ryan Sessegnon is back today, but he hasn't played at all this season. Brian Hill is there. There's youngsters, Jamie Donnelly, then there's a few young defenders, but it always felt that Brian Hill would be the first change for Ange Postecoglou, and he has come on. Who went off? Did we see who went off?
Lo Celso
went off. Brian Hill on for Lo Celso.
And I know Rob will be happy because now Brendan Johnson is playing in his proper position on the right-hand side, and I think that's where he's better.
So that is attacking, bringing on. So they've now got Hill and Johnson and Richarlison and Kulusevski on the field to Tottenham, but what they don't have is a goal. And after 0-0 between Palace and Everton, I think it would be a shame if another of the all Premier League FA Cup ties was to finish scoreless here. Earlier on, we've had Brentford 1, Wolves 1. So of the 4 FA Cup third round games that have been active so far, the only one that is got a difference between the teams is Fulham against Rotherham, and that's not over yet. 5 minutes to play at Craven Cottage this evening. Closing stages of that one are available to listen to right now on our sister station 5 Live. We've almost reached the hour mark at Tottenham Stadium. Muric plays it forward to Larsson. I still think the longer this stays 0-0, the more Burnley will feel it's there for them to go and win it. Foul on Amdouni, who's down inside the centre circle. And that's a free kick to Burnley.
It's a foul, but he's going to get up. His team had the ball in a dangerous position. It is a foul, but get on with it. Like, oh no, maybe. Yeah, he does tread on his toe. And on a cold night, they're not good, Connor. So I apologise.
So free kick to Burnley. 0-0 the score. Burnley attacking the end where their fans are housed. Away to our left. Now those Burnley fans would love to see an away goal here. Yes. Zahouri, who's now playing wide left, swings in a cross, but it sails over the crossbar. It hits a poor young ball boy on the face there. That was the belated cheer from the crowd. So it is going to be a goal kick for Vicario. Immediately, Tottenham's 2 central defenders sit either side of the 6-yard box, and inevitably he rolls it to one of them. And Tottenham will play their way out. Emerson through Porro, and it's given away. How many times has that happened? Given away on the edge of their own penalty area. This is Amdouni. And the pass just for Cullen, and Burnley have given it away themselves. I'm not criticising this. I think it's great. It makes it really entertaining. But as a Tottenham fan, it's got to be scary.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. And if you're going to be able to do it, you're going to have to do it properly. And you are going to make mistakes, because everyone makes mistakes. But you will get punished against better teams.
Expectant atmosphere here inside the largest club stadium in London. These Tottenham supporters want a goal, but they're defending at the moment. Throw into Burnley, right down by the corner flag. They attack on the left, and Charlie Taylor screams at Zahouri and says, I'm going to take this, and then he throws it short to Zahouri, in by the corner flag, back to Taylor again, back to Cullen, edge of the penalty area, and he takes the safe option, plays it back to Delcroix near the halfway line. Chance for Tottenham to push out, which is what they always want to do, and the high line executed immediately as the white shirts sprint up towards the halfway line. Delcroix will give it out to Zauri on the left-hand side. Tries to play it infield, controlled comfortably by Ben Davies as Tottenham get it back again. Burnley need to be a little bit more inventive when they do get these opportunities inside their opponent's half. There's a foul by Larson on Emerson and a free kick to Spurs just inside their own half. This is Pedro Porro, gives it short to Brennan Johnson. Back out on the right wing as Clinton has referenced. Emerson will give it to Ben Davies back on the halfway line once again. The tempo of this game has never slowed. 62 minutes on the big stadium clock. Brian Hill-Rose in front of Kulusevski. Nice change of direction as he tries to get away from the opponent there. Hill will roll it back to Ben Davies once more. Tottenham have got a line of about 6 players right up on the edge of the Burnley penalty area, but can they provide that killer executed ball that they've been missing tonight? Emerson points it, look at 2 arms outstretched. He wants better options from Porro there. Porro rolls it back to Emerson, drags it under his studs, plays it short for Johnson. Nice turn, pulls the ball back across the face of goal, but Darrow Shea was able to control just outside the 6-yard box, and Burnley are able to get it away. That was incisive from Johnson, though. They'll want to see a bit more like that. Here's Porro, goes the long way around Zaroury, into Johnson, heavy touch, too heavy, runs it out of play for a Burnley goal kick. Tottenham 0, Burnley 0.
But it's more positive from on the right hand side, really getting into good positions there, plays a good ball across the box. Richarlison just behind the defender, but it's better from Brennan Johnson. That's where you want to see him in that position, getting good balls into the box. And I see Charlie Taylor, he was struggling about 5 or 6 minutes ago, so they might have to make a substitution.
When Burnley won the FA Cup in 1914, they beat Liverpool in the final. The final was played at Crystal Palace in those days. Bert Freeman scored the only goal. For both clubs, it was their first time in an FA Cup final. And it was called the Royal Cup Final, Clinton, because King George V became the first reigning monarch to attend an FA Cup final.
What year was that?
That was 1914.
Oof. Yeah, very long time ago, wasn't it?
So Crystal Palace, which has had all sorts of royalty over the years, but George V, even before you, Clinton.
Before me, yep.
We're not missing any action here. There's a Burnley player down receiving treatment. It's Charlie Taylor, slow to get back to his feet, but he is now up and walking. And just a little breather. Players have been able to come across, get a drink, have a little team talk on the touchline. Ange Postecoglou, you'd love to hear what he's saying. He's down there having a word with the referee's assistant. He's got this real cool demeanour, isn't it? And some, you know, we see a lot of managers bellowing instructions, going red in the face, shouting. There's something for me. It's more convincing when they're sort of calm. It feels more menacing almost.
Yeah, I love watching him with his interviews, and he is calm. He's like a manager you want to play for. He doesn't go mad on the touchline, but I think if he gives you that look, you know you're in trouble, Connor.
He's got the look.
Yeah, he's got the look for sure.
His nickname is Big Ange Postecoglou, and he's not tall. Yeah. He's like 5'10", but he's got the big presence, doesn't he? Right, there's got to be a change.
I think there's going to be a double one. Yes. I know Charlie Taylor's gone off.
So Amin Al-Dakhil is going to come on, the Belgian international, and so too Mike Tresor, who's been a regular in the Premier League over recent weeks. This will be his first taste of the FA Cup. So Al-Dakhil and Tresor both preparing to come on. Tottenham have possession. Brian Hill, that's a nicely weighted ball in front of a doggy who's in around the back of the defence. Brennan Johnson, this is your chance. Shoots it, and it's saved by the goalkeeper. Down into the turf. That took the sting. Big chance for Brennan Johnson. Burnley breathe again. They get it up to Jakob Brun-Larsen. 2 defenders are back, and Emerson makes a well-timed challenge. Tottenham regain possession once again. 0-0 it remains.
It's unlucky, Brennan Johnson. It's brilliant technique, and to be fair, and Doggy does well down that left-hand side, and the technique's brilliant. But I said it has to be something special to beat Muric. Another good save from Muric there, but really better play from Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. Good play from Ndoggy as well.
He's done well tonight, Harry Muric, given that he's only had 3 League Cup appearances all season. There's been no evidence of rustiness. The goalkeeper who's got a winner's medal of the FA Cup from 2019 when he was an unused sub for Manchester City in the final when they beat Watford. Cullen regains possession on the edge of his penalty area, and Vitinho is able to clear the ball away. They're now going to bring on 3 changes, Burnley. So Vincent Kompany has decided to throw the kitchen sink at this, and why not? Muric comes out of his penalty area, sweeper keeper, and clears the ball away. So this break in play will allow the change. We've told you about Al-Dakhil and Mike Tresor coming on, and the third replacement of this batch for the visitors will be Nathan Redmond. Nathan Redmond, who was in a Southampton side that were knocked out of the FA Cup by Tottenham back in 2020. Aaron Ramsey is one of the players who is going to depart.
We know Taylor's already gone because he walked off early, and then it's Zohori as well. Zohori's going for Trésor.
So Al Takil will play where Taylor was at full back. Trésor and Redmond further up the field for Burnley. Can these fresh legs prove beneficial for the visitors and for Vincent Kompany? You know, he's kept very cool demeanour about a tricky situation. Results have not been going Burnley's way, but he doesn't seem to be pressing any panic buttons, Vincent Kompany. Never did as a player. This is Brian Hill back to Ben Davis on the halfway line, and he'll turn and give it back to Vicario. We've got a quarter of this game remaining. Skip to the near touchline to Brennan Johnson. Tried to feed it first time into Porro. Just about got there. Back into their own half again, Tottenham, with Emerson. Again, he's waving arms. He wants better options for these passes out of defence. Again, the outstretched arms for the Brazilian. And a third time, and then he rolls it up to Skip, and Porro returns it to Skip, and this is better now from Tottenham. Chance for Skip to get it into the penalty area. Johnson goes down, claims he was fouled. VAR will look at that in the background, but the on-field decision for now is no penalty.
Yeah, we'll have to see that again. I was thinking maybe he had a bad touch. It's a good cutback from Skip. Johnson, no, I can't see much in that. I can see Brownhill and him going for the ball together. No, not enough in it for me. I don't think it would be overturned, but who knows? I don't know. I'm not in that VAR seat.
That'll be I will pay the entrance fee that day when you are in the VAR seat, Clinton. That will be box office. Right, the big screens have gone red. They go purple in the Premier League. For the FA Cup and the branding, they go red. And the message is checking for a possible penalty, but check complete. No,
we got it right, Connor, as usual.
VAR Clinton Morrison has got the right call there. This is Brian Hill, just outside the penalty area, left-hand side. Now, we mentioned in the first half, any of our listeners who weren't with us, there's a new support VAR tonight. Chris Cavan is there, along with Darren Bond, who's the VAR, and Stuart Birds, who's the assistant VAR. So the numbers keep increasing until they get the decisions right. The VAR, the SVAR, the AVAR, and the CMVAR, which is the Clinton Morrison VAR. Now, Kulusevski, was he fouled by the goalkeeper Muric there? He was running to the byline, the ball was going out of play. Muric was just shielding it to allow the ball out. Kulusevski quite dramatically went down.
I'll have to see this one because I don't know why he's done that. He kind of, we have to see it again. Does he tug him, Connor? Look. No, not at all. No. Kulusevski pulls him and tries to do it. Another good decision from the referee.
The CM VAR has said no penalty that time either. And I think Kulusevski was making a bit of a mountain out of a molehill there. Right, here is Amdouni for Burnley down the other end. Gives it to Trésor. First time he's been involved. Into the penalty area. Left-footed shot blocked by Porro. Porro celebrates with clenched fists. That was an important tackle. Corner to Burnley. 20 minutes plus the stoppages to go.
I say, if you don't take your chances, Burnley get opportunities. They will punish. Well, they should have been punished you in the first half, but they haven't really had much to go on in the second half. But good opportunity.
Corner. Trésor prepares to take on the left-hand side. Nathan Redmond's got in to stand on the goalkeeper's toes. Most of them are huddled around the penalty spot, the Burnley players who've gone forward. Tottenham have everyone back in there. An expectant mood at Tottenham Stadium as Trésor sends it in. Too close to the goalkeeper. Held onto by Vicario.
Such a bad corner.
It's all over at Craven Cottage. We've got our first team into the fourth round. Fulham have beaten Rotherham. Here comes Richarlison. Hurdles over Cullen. Plays it in front of Udogie. Great sprint to get there. Great defending too, though. That was a proper 100-metre dash back into the penalty area. And Vitinho and O'Shea do a little high five to celebrate, keeping tabs on Udogie there.
O'Shea does well, because I thought it was a mismatch, and Doggie's rapid, to be fair. He makes up the ground. 80-yard run, but good defending from O'Shea.
Corner's taken short. Noise is the loudest it's been all day. Udogie back out to Porro, who taken the corner. He clips one in, too close to Muric, who gathers it comfortably on the edge of his 6-yard box. And Burnley regained possession once again. Richarlison was just lurking in behind Muric there in case the goalkeeper dropped it. He was going to try and nip around in front of him. And the Tottenham fans begin to whistle and cheer because they think Muric is holding it on too long here. Eventually he booms it down long towards Larsson. Davis beats him to it, heads it back, soft header, and Vicario to sprint off his goal line to gather it ahead of Jakob Brun Larsen. Tottenham come forward, still waiting for a breakthrough here. Kulusevski, just as Johnson had checked his run and turned back, Kulusevski played it in front of him, and it goes out of play for a Burnley throw.
Yeah, Kulusevski's got to be better than that on the ball. He's just got to give it to Johnson's feet. He was waiting, and then he runs into his path, Connor.
Well, tonight on Sports Extra, Fulham-Rotherham has been our featured game at Craven Cottage. It is all over, and we can get the details from Andy Giddings.
Yes, Fulham have beaten Rotherham United by 1-0. Bobby De Cordova-Reid got the winning goal. A sensational effort from about 20 yards out after some sloppy possession at the back was seized upon by Fulham. After that, all rather low-key. Fulham had a couple of opportunities in the second half, not least a Tosin Adarabayoyo header that was well saved by Victor Johansson. Rotherham United seemed quite happy to lose 1-0, which they did. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0.
Thanks very much, Andy. So we do at last have a team into the fourth round after the first two third-round games finished as a draw. This one, at the moment, is a draw, but Fulham have got their name into the hat for the fourth round of the FA Cup. Games to come all across the weekend here on 5 Live. Sunderland Newcastle should be very tasty tomorrow with John Murray and Pat Nevin. That's the 12:45 game. Ian Dennis will have the usual round the ground service based at Gillingham against Sheffield United at 3 o'clock. And we'll also have coverage of Borough against Villa at the 5:30 game, which you can also watch live on BBC television. Here's Nathan Redmond. First time he's had the ball at his feet since coming on as a sub. Nearly lost it. Then it is lost in the midfield. And Porro will put one over the top. Has Johnson still got the energy in his legs? Running towards the penalty area. Up against Delcroix. Good defending by Delcroix to nudge the ball out towards the corner flag. Johnson tries to turn back on him, but all he can do is put the ball out of play. Throw into Burnley, left full-back position for them. So what do you think, Clinton? Are we going to get an equaliser here, or is this going to be a third replay of the 4 games that have been played?
It's difficult because I'm saying there's going to be a goal. There's going to be a goal, Connor. It's definitely coming. I don't know who for, but I would, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say Spurs because they dominated possession, but you never know. Burnley are causing a few problems.
We like the positivity. Could this be the moment? Hill, just outside the tee of the penalty area, held up by Brownhill. Good strength by Josh Brownhill, but Hill in the lime green boots has managed to spin away from him and turn this back into an attack. Udogie on the edge of the box. Back to Bentancur, urged to shoot by some Spurs fans, but he's miles out. Emerson to the right-hand side to Porro. Tottenham have played pretty much everyone up in attack now. Porro runs across the edge of the penalty area, gives it back to Emerson. Bentancur is the deepest lying of the outfield players. All the defenders ahead of him. One of them is Ben Davis, drops a shoulder, edges towards the edge of the penalty area. Udogie's available outside him, drags it back under his studs and plays the safe ball back to Bentancur once again. Now to Emerson, just over quarter of an hour to play of normal time, and then an interception is made by Alderweireld, and a chance now for Burnley to get it down the other end, and their defence could do with a bit of respite here. This is Larsson, good ball, back into Dakiel, but strong defending from Bentancur, just back from injury, but he didn't flinch going into that challenge, and he wins the ball back for his team.
He's a real player, to be fair. When he gets up and running full of fitness, it's like a new signing for Tottenham. They missed him when he had that bad injury, but he's getting more minutes in his body, and that's good for the football club and himself.
I think that is going to be the most used expression in 2024 about Tottenham. We're going to be saying again and again, that's like a new signing. James Maddison, it's like a new signing. You know. Son, back from the Asian Cup. It's like a new signing. Ball over the top by Bentancur. He's disappointed with himself there. He's hit it too firm.
Van der Ven, like a new signing.
He is on the bench, Mickey Van der Ven, who's been out since the start of November. Christian Romero's out for another few weeks. Veliz, Pape Sarpasuma's son all away in international duty. Perisic out for the season. Manor Solomon might be back soon. He's one of those nearing a return. As Vitinho tries to bring the ball out of defence here for Burnley. Burnley, who've been easy on the eye, plenty of attractive football, trying to do things in inverted commas the right way. Could they be rewarded by an FA Cup victory here in a game that's still 0-0? Tresor to Alderkiel, he took it too far. Tresor's ball goes straight out of play. It needed to be a softer touch for Alderkiel.
Yeah, it's just lack quality in that final third. Tresor's got to do better to play Alderkiel, but great run from Alderkiel.
Tottenham change in the midfield. Oliver Skipp makes way for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who'll be one of those thinking that he might have started tonight. FA Cup game, hasn't started very many Premier League matches this season, but another game on the bench for Højbjerg.
He could be one that probably moves in January, Conor. He probably hasn't had the game time. I don't think they're in a position to do that with Sarr and obviously Basuma away.
Bentancur runs into trouble here. Energetic manoeuvre by Josh Cullen to get ball side, and then Bentancur bundled into the back of him. Free kick. This appearance for Højbjerg coming off the bench is his 300th appearance since arriving in English football. Plenty of experience with Southampton, of course, in the past. He's only ever scored one FA Cup goal in his career. That was for Southampton against Wigan back in 2018 for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Might he possibly come up with a winning moment? It increasingly feels one goal will be enough tonight. Whoever scores here will be going through to the fourth round, you would imagine. Brownhill's free kick is behind where he wanted it to be. All his teammates ran into the penalty area. His cross came to the edge of the box. Brian Hill is the latest to try and head it out. Udogie awkwardly fell and sort of stomached it away, but that'll do. And Kulusevski has found a little bit of space down the right-hand side. Richarlison's in field of him. Højbjerg's made a great run to the back post. Played into Richarlison, miss it. Down goes Højbjerg. Here's Richarlison again.
Oh my gosh.
Norwich is able to fall on the ball. Another chance goes a begging for Spurs, but Burnley have given it away. Porro shoots! What a brilliant goal! Pedro Porro hits an unstoppable thunderbolt, and Tottenham fans celebrate because they believe that's the goal that sends them into the fourth round of the FA Cup. It's his first of the season, Pedro Porro. He's had so many attempts like that. He's been waiting for one of them to hit the back of the net. It's Tottenham 1, Burnley 0, and there's only just over 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I was going to have a go at Richarlison, and you're thinking, Muric, I don't know why Muric. Listen, it's poor from Burnley, because after you've been under pressure, Muric shouldn't throw it to him. He should not throw it, but once it gets in there, oh my gosh, what did I say to you, Connor? Has to be something spectacular to beat him. The strike from Porro had dip, swerve, fantastic finish, unbelievable strike.
That is as clean a strike of the football as you will see. We're seeing the action replays from all angles on our monitors. The ball itself barely spins. It's suspended, there's no movement to the ball. It's just dead straight like an arrow. That is a perfect hit. No, if there was two goalkeepers, they were not saving that.
I don't know why he's run to the corner flag. I'd have run out the stadium if I scored a goal like that, Connor. Let me tell you. And they would have to make a sub. I'd have run all the way home. What a strike. Unbelievable technique.
It was a beauty from Pedro Porro. I believe he's had more shots this season than any other defender in the Premier League. That's why he backs himself. Finally, one of them has gone in. Now, surely that's going to decide it. Or do Burnley have a second wind in them? They lose the ball here. Picked up by Ben Davies just outside his own penalty area. Feeds it to Brian Hill. Bentancur. Now they just need cool heads, Tottenham. See this through for the final 10 minutes plus stoppages. Hill involved again. Runs into a bit of trouble. Giving away a free kick to Burnley on the halfway line. So the mood around here has improved considerably. Tottenham fans who are beginning to feel nervous, but they've got that goal now from Pedro Porro. Burnley have possession on the halfway line, but there isn't the anxiety now about Spurs. They don't have to throw everything into attack now. Cross from Redmond is weak and too close to Vicario, who makes the save. Tottenham are preparing to make a double change here. One of them is Dane Scarlett, who's recently returned from a loan move away from the club, so he's going to get a reintroduction to Tottenham supporters.
And young Jamie Donnelly.
Who will get his first taste of the FA Cup, having recently come on very late cameos in 2 Premier League games. But he's yet to start a match for Spurs, the teenager. Turns 19 this month. So Scarlett and Donnelly come on. Fresh legs for Ange Postecoglou. to see this through after Porro's goal has dramatically given Tottenham the lead.
And Sessegnon, triple substitution. So they must feel like there's some tired legs, but no Van der Veen, so maybe not ready, Connor, yet.
An evening that Tottenham have tried to get a chance in the penalty area, and in the end, football can so often be a simple game. Porro just lashed it from outside the box, and Muric, he'll be disappointed. Having played well tonight, it was his distribution that was rushed that gave Porro the chance in the first place. Brian Hill on the far side runs into Vitinho, loses the ball. Nathan Redmond has it for Burnley. They're not giving up. Larson on the halfway line looks a bit isolated here. 4 white shirts around him, smuggles it back out to Redmond again, but Burnley have got to retreat back into their own half. Vitinho will give it to Darragh O'Shea. Burnley have given this everything. I mean, it's been a similar tale throughout the season. You never think they're not trying for Vincent Kompany. They're plugging away. You could see why this football works really well in the Championship, but they're just up against a different calibre of opponent this season.
And that is, you're right, spot on. Some of these players are struggling to adapt to the Premier League, and they're playing against harder and better opposition.
So the triple change is going to happen here. Brennan Johnson goes off, gets a warm round of applause. Jamie Donnelly on to replace him, the England under-19 international forward. Richarlison is going to make way for Dane Scarlett. Richarlison, who is still involved with a dispute about something with Hane Dwelquad. Don't think he realised that his number was being held up. Or maybe he did. Maybe that's the ploy to waste a bit more time
that was it.
at 1-0 up. But Richarlison will make way. No goal for him tonight, having scored 5 goals in his last 5 games before this evening. An evening that not many chances came his way. He had 2 sights of goal in the first half, and Bentancur will get a well-earned rest, having put in a very good performance. And he has been replaced down there too. As these Tottenham fans looking up at the big stadium clock, glad to see it edging towards the 90 minutes. So Ryan Sessegnon, and that's a much-awaited return to the fold for Ryan Sessegnon, who last played in early February, so it's been almost a year since Sessegnon has been in action. So Tottenham fans pleased to see him back, because, you know, at his best, he's a very, very good player. He is,
and he's such a young talent. He came to Tottenham and he's been in and out, and injuries. He just needs a run of games. I forgot, you know, Perisic is still at Tottenham. He's been out for ages.
Yeah, he's not going to play again this season.
No, huge blow for them.
ACL.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a major narrative around these parts this season, the number of injuries, but all Ange Postecoglou can do is hang on in there and hope that those guys get back soon. Manchester United to come in the Premier League next weekend. This is Muric on the edge of the penalty area. Have Burnley one last trick up their sleeve? El Dakhil comes over the halfway line. Brian Hill, who's put in a good shift since coming on, he's been all over the park, making tackles, busy runs. Dwelquad's got to roll it back to Muric here, who's way outside his penalty area. Let's see up to here, Muric. Nicely judged ball out to Vitinho on the right-hand side, into Tottenham territory, up against Ryan Sessegnon, tries to take him on, but runs the ball out of play. Just over 5 minutes of normal time to go if you're just tuning away on 5 Live this evening. 10-man Wolves came back to get a 1-1 draw away at Brentford. They'll have a replay back at Molineux. Fulham are into the 4th round, having beaten Rotherham at Craven Cottage. And Tottenham, thanks to a Pedro Porro goal, are within a few minutes now of joining Fulham in the draw for the 4th round, unless we get a dramatic turn of events from Burnley here. The FA Cup action continues over the weekend. Looking forward to Sunderland against Newcastle tomorrow, 12:45 start. Gillingham against Sheffield United will be our base at 3 o'clock. We'll have reporters and commentary teams around the grounds. We'll follow the story wherever it emerges, as it always tends to do on FA Cup 3rd round Saturday. You never know where the lightning will be, but it'll be caught in a jar somewhere. Here comes Dane Scarlett for Spurs over the halfway line. Burnley trying to get the tired bodies back. Sessegnon can't bring it with him into the penalty area. And it's mopped up back there. Oh, Muric, he's given away to Brian Hill. This would make Tottenham's night if he can score. Sessegnon, saved by Muric. Sessegnon shifted it onto his right boot, but 12 yards out, went for the bottom corner. Muric reacted well and made amends for his own mistake.
Yeah, I think it's maybe going wide anyway, but it's a good save from Muric. And it's like Muric says, you can have it. I want to make another good save, about his 10th save of the night.
Sessegnon would love a goal in his return. Brian Hill, who's never scored for Spurs, has got it again inside the penalty area here. Hill with a shot on target, but no power on it. And well, if he scored tonight, Brian Hill, I think they'd all do the run home that you were suggesting earlier.
Yeah, this would empty quick and we'd get out quicker, wouldn't we, Connor?
The traffic wouldn't be a problem. Tottenham fans have had to be very, very, very patient waiting to see a Brian Hill goal. Sessegnon has won it back here again. Burnley look done and dusted. Chance for Scarlett in the penalty area. Shifted his weight, but it's blocked away by the defender. O'Shea puts it out for a corner. Chances for Tottenham late on against a tiring Burnley defence.
Oof, that was going well.
It was going wide, but it could have deflected in for an own goal.
It could have deflected in, it could have. It was good skill from Scarlett, but yeah, I think he just gets it horribly wrong. But he's made an impact, the young man, and I do like him. I think he's got good movement and he can finish.
Nice circumstances for attacking players to come into against a tiring opponent who needs a goal down the other end. 3 minutes of normal time to play. This is 5 Live from the BBC. Start of a very busy FA Cup third round weekend. You can keep across it all on this network and Sports Extra. Over the weekend, up to and including Monday night when Manchester United go to Wigan. We'll bring you that game 8 o'clock on Monday, live here on 5 Live. Free kick to Burnley. Foul on Vitinho on the edge of the penalty area by Brian Hill. Burnley agonisingly just need one goal here to force a replay, but it feels like a long time since they've made Vicario sweat.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. They've not worked him enough, and I don't think he's had to make one save, if I can think about it, during the game. Not been good enough going forward.
The long-range goal from Pedro Porro separates the teams. Here's Sessegnon winning the ball just outside his own penalty area. Jamie Donnelly with a few touches there in the midfield. Ben Davis gives it back to the goalkeeper Vicario again. Tottenham playing left to right as we look down. Porro just slipped as the ball came to him. Alderweireld was able to slide in. It'll be taken on by Amdouni. Are Burnley going to get one last chance? Here's one. Brownhill tried to side-foot it with power, but it's skewed off the inside of his right boot, and it's well wide of the target in the end. Brownhill, who scored against Spurs last time they met, is that to be the last chance for the visitors?
Yeah, when it comes, he's waiting for it to come across. It's such a difficult skill, and you can see why he's doing that, because he's so right-footed, but that's probably a left-foot finish.
Songs rising into the North London night air from Tottenham fans, who are really hoping that this FA Cup journey could be one to watch in the coming months. No doubt that Tottenham have got the skill. They've got a new belief this season that hasn't been seen in many, many years. And if they can just keep the injuries under control, and the suspensions too, which have been a problem for Spurs, there could be a very happy ending to this campaign by the end of it, and Ange Postecoglou's debut season as Tottenham manager. Burnley trying to plug away here, but we've got 45 seconds of normal time to play. Tottenham have just got the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, and they're running down the clock here. Hotspur comes forward towards the centre circle, picks out Scarlett. Back to Jamie Donnelly, out into space on the left-hand side for Ryan Sessegnon. He plays a 1-2 with Hotspur, but the second leg of it goes out of play for a throw-in to Burnley. We're about to find out what's going to be added on.
4, I'm going for. 4 or 5.
4 is Clinton's guess. We only had 1 minute added on at the end of the first half, which is a real rarity these days. Juric, the Burnley goalkeeper. And they rode their luck at times tonight, Burnley. But the longer it was 0-0, the more you thought that the team languishing towards the foot of the table could beat a team up in the upper echelons of the Premier League.
7.
7, there we go. 7 minutes to go. Maybe there's time for 2 Burnley chances. Turquoise will play it forward. A few murmurs around the ground. 7 minutes, the Tottenham fans are saying. And a free kick for the foul on Porro. Tressor caught him late. Porro's rolled off the pitch here. Tressor comes across to see if he's okay, but the yellow card is coming for him. Well, Tressor, the Belgian, on loan from Genk. It's a kind of a clumsy one rather than any malice.
Yeah, I think it is a yellow card, but yeah, you're right, Connor, it was clumsy.
Free kick to Tottenham, taking the time over it now. Emerson, former Barcelona man, plays it down that right channel, trying to pick out Dean Scarlett. Brownhill gets it for Burnley. Energetic lunge by Jamie Donnelly to disrupt Burnley and to put it out for a throw-in. Reminder, match of the day, FA Cup highlights both tomorrow night and Sunday night. You can catch all the goals across the weekend on BBC One, 10:30 on both nights. This is Tressor, just inside his own half. Nothing to lose now for Burnley. They might as well launch it, go for it. Juric plays it up towards Redmond on the halfway line. Heavy touch from him. Cullen will do well to keep this, but he was fouled, Josh Cullen. And that'll be a free kick to Burnley, but they are being pinned back inside their own half by a Tottenham team who are almost there. We've played nearly 2 of the 7 minutes already. Juric, crossfield ball looking for Tressor. Porro alert to the danger, gets there first. Taken down on the chest by Brian Hill. No free kick for Tottenham though as Hill hits the deck. Tressor into Cullen. Burnley hoping that there's an equaliser in them. Good run by Vitinho, gets around Sessegnon, but having got into a dangerous position, he's put too much on the cross, and I think I know what you're going to say, Clinton.
That's the story of Burnley's season and the story of tonight. Getting into threatening positions, final ball, final shot, nowhere near good enough, Connor, and that's what's let them down.
It will be frustrating for Vincent Kompany, you know, in his playing career, such high standards, played with such quality players. In terms of tactics, he's been able to create opportunities tonight, but the quality has been absent for Burnley to try and take those chances. Last time these sides met, Josh Brownhill did score in the 90th minute against Spurs.
Here comes Big Muric.
Here comes Muric, because Burnley have won a corner, and the goalkeeper, who is enormous, he looks like a basketball player in the NBA. He comes forward into the penalty area.
Someone should be on the goalkeeper. Could go straight into Macario's hand there.
Tressor's going to take it. This feels like a last throw of the dice now for Burnley. Tressor, short run up, stabs it into the penalty. Muric strained his neck trying to get there. Tottenham want to clear it down the other end. Cullen under pressure from Hill. No one in goal for Burnley, of course, but Burnley regained possession with Brownhill. Muric is sprinting back beyond him. Brownhill tries to play it forward. Larson jumps very unconvincingly. He's not a target man. He's been deployed in a curious position in this second half of the game by Vincent Kompany. And a free kick to Spurs for the foul on Brian Hill. And Tottenham are almost there.
What you were trying to say is, Connor, he ducked out of it. He did not want to header the ball, and he's not a centre forward. That's why I'm so surprised he didn't bring on Jay Rodriguez. They've got a centre forward there who's good with his back to goal. So I was surprised, because Bruno Larson has had no impact on the game.
Or at least, if you do bring him on, don't play long balls up to him.
Play it to his feet, exactly.
Yeah, play to your strengths. Almost 4 minutes of the stoppages have expired. Emerson takes the free kick for Tottenham. As things stand, Spurs on their way to the 4th round draw. This is Kulusevski. 20 yards outside the Burnley penalty area. He's got Brian Hill outside him. Hill plays the safe ball back to Pedro Porro. Conservative approach required. Oh, Højbjerg's not been conservative at all there. He's giving it away to Redmond. Now Larson in a sprint against Ben Davies, who slides in ahead of him and puts the ball out of play for a Burnley throw. That's more like the kind of pass that Larson will benefit from rather than a high one played to his head. Muric again way outside his penalty area. Gives it short to Delcroix. Now Tressor, he's knackered. The ball came to him, he is spent, Tressor, and he couldn't control it. And a misjudgment of concentration gives possession back to Tottenham.
That's my pet hate. He's trying to control it with the top of his foot, control it with the instep. Oh, so frustrating.
Sunderland against Newcastle, 12:45 tomorrow. It will be a very good listen with correspondent John Murray and Pat Nevin from the Stadium of Light. Northeast derby, which will be fiercely contested in any contest, but particularly in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. Gillingham against Sheffield United, our pick of the games at 3, and we'll also bring you Middlesbrough against Aston Villa. That is a 5:30 start tomorrow. Plenty of FA Cup stories on this week's My Mates a Footballer podcast with Patrick Bamford and Joe Wilkinson. The guys discussing FA Cup giant killings and cup bonuses. You can get the stories on those on the My Mates a Footballer podcast from 5 Live and from BBC Sounds. Alderkiel wants a free kick here. He's got to get a throw.
Yeah, it's not far. He's diving on Porro. Deal with the football.
Alderkeel level with the edge of the penalty area that Burnley are attacking, throws it too close to Porro. Porro stretches out and intercepts, and Kulusevski, who never seems to tire, picks up the ball from deep and rolls it in front of Sessegnon. Now, what can Ryan Sessegnon do here? Runs into Vitinho. Donnelly comes to try and keep it going, but it was a foul on Vitinho. Free kick to Burnley. O'Shea tries to take it quickly. Referee says it's from the wrong position. Free kick to Burnley.
Didn't look convincing there, Sessegnon. I know he's coming back from a long injury, but you're thinking, just go and take it, knock it past Vitinho. He's played like 96 minutes. Go on your fresh legs, but never looked convincing in that one-on-one situation.
Yeah, in his prime, Sessegnon would have taken that on, but I think we'll allow him be a little bit rusty in the circumstances of a first game in almost a year. Muric goes on. Porro, did he slip or was he fouled there? Play on. Here's a chance for Burnley. What a stop by Hotspur in front of the goalkeeper to deny Alderkeel. That could have levelled the game up at 1-1. Was it Delcroix who had the shot in the end?
It was Delcroix.
Hotspur saving in front of the keeper. Corner Burnley.
Wow. That's a big opportunity for him. He probably wanted a centre forward in that position, but they don't have one on the pitch, Connor.
Well, Porro went down. I think if that had ended up in the back of the net,
VAR.
it would have come back to VAR. But was he fouled or did he slip? They're delaying the restart here because they suggested did Hojbjerg handle that? He's saying it came off his chest. I have to say at the time I thought chest. Yes, the VAR agrees. But Morris wins the header and it's put just wide. Burnley within a whisker. An absolute whisker. Zeki Amdouni. After the goalkeeper won the header, Amdouni tried to hit it on the volley and he's put it somehow wide from directly in front of the goal. That's a huge chance, Clinton.
Muric, that's the final whistle. But Muric, it's a great header from Muric, and you're right, Connor. Amdouni has to score. Great opportunity.
That's it. It's all over. Tottenham go through and Burnley are out. Vincent Kompany's team with their best chance of the night, with literally the final kick of the game. Amdouni could have forced a replay after Muric, the goalkeeper, forward for the corner kick, won the flick on. But it wasn't to be, and it's Tottenham who go through thanks to a very memorable goal from Pedro Porro. And Clinton, they're going to be talking about that goal around here for a long time to come.
Yeah, it's a special goal. It's a brilliant goal to win any football match, but what a strike. I don't care how many goalkeepers you have in the back of that net. I don't even, 2 or 3 wouldn't have been able to save that. It was inch perfect from Pedro Porro, outstanding. But Burnley be disappointed because they missed 2 big chances in the game from Amdouni, and they really should have got something from it. But Tottenham did dominate and fully deserved it.
It's been a night when some of Tottenham's long injury list have been able to come back at least to the edge of the fold for now. And as we move into 2024, these Spurs fans hope that Ange Postecoglou can lead this team in the right direction. There's a celebratory atmosphere here because Spurs are into the 4th round of the FA Cup, and could this end the long wait for silverware? Job done, not in the most convincing terms tonight, but plenty of hard work. Ange Postecoglou's team are through. It finishes Tottenham 1, Burnley 0.
Thanks, Connor. I mean, Clinton, the only thing you can say about the Amdouni chance right at the end is it is just a fraction behind him when it gets there.
Yeah, it is behind him. You know what I was thinking, Fletch? Take a touch, because he's got so much time behind him. But you are right, he probably makes that run too early. But I still, from where I am, you probably got better view, but where we are, I do think it's a golden opportunity. But if you say it's behind him, then I understand. But he could still take a touch. But they're just the moments for Burnley that you've seen for most of the season. He had a brilliant one in the first half as well, where he's got to hit the target.
Yeah, kind of came off the heel as it came over.
Yeah,
I mean, I think if he could have the time back again, he himself would say I should score from there. But if there is any kind of excuse, it would be the fact he was a fraction behind him. I mean, I said to you at half-time, I thought Burnley were the most susceptible on restarts and throw-outs from the goalkeeper, and that's where Porro's screamer came from.
Yeah, you got it 100%. But I don't know. Muric, right? Richarlison should score before he has a bad touch. Muric, you've been under pressure. Just settle it down, Fletch. Stop rushing it. He rushed it, threw it, they lose the ball, and then the strike from Porro. You don't think that's going to happen. It had to be something special to beat Muric, but what a strike from Pedro Porro. And he has got that technique. I see one last season when he scored like that, but what a finish. But he's got to relax, Muric. He had a brilliant game, but when your team's been under pressure, just settle it down and sometimes go long. Don't always try to play out from the back.
Scott from Edinburgh says, I'll happily sit through 80 minutes of stodge for a screamer like that. That's the Tottenham view. Kevin, who I presume is a Burnley fan, says Burnley insisting on playing out from the back loses yet another game. You can't play Man City football with a Salford City squad. I know he wants to play this way, Vincent Kompany, but has he got to tweak it? I mean, the comparison I would make to a point are Nottingham Forest last year. Steve Cooper got them in the Premier League and they started off playing the football that got them out of the Championship, but realised very, very quickly that wasn't going to work. Has Kompany got to change it at Burnley?
I think you're spot on, Fletch. Sometimes you have to change it. Listen, there's time and place where to play. They're not good enough to play out from the back at the moment. It's been proved loads this season where we've seen them concede a lot of goals. I understand Vincent Kompany wants to play like that, and that's his philosophy. But when you don't have the players to do that, then I don't think you should do it, and you should try and change it. So going forward in the Premier League, I would try to go back to front. Listen, I'm not saying you have to do it all the time. There will be times where you can play out from the back, but it's just putting yourself under big pressure at the moment.
Yeah, there's a replay coming at Molineux. Brentford 1, Wolves 1 is a full-time. Mopé after 41 minutes. João Gomez was sent off early in that match. And Tommy Doyle with a cracking goal on 64 minutes to earn Wolves a replay at Molineux. Fulham are through. Equally good strike from Bobby de Cordova-Reid. They've beaten Rotherham by 1-0 at Craven Cottage. I mean, I know that Burnley had 2 big chances, but that was a match that Tottenham should have won tonight. They did win tonight. Really good goal. And they get themselves through. I mean, they were the dominant team, whichever way you look at it tonight, Clinton.
Oh, yeah, they created loads of chances. Listen, Muric probably would have been man of the match if it had stayed 0-0 because he made some big saves, and Tottenham were wasteful in possession and in their finishing at times in that final third. They did miss Son, but any team would miss Son because he's a world-class player. But yeah, they created chances, and then on another day Richarlison could go home with the match ball. So it's something to think about when they go to Man United, but they got the job done, and that's the most important thing. And you're right, Fletch, they were the better team.
There's some technique for the goal, isn't it? To strike it like he did. I mean, the goalkeeper completely flat-footed. The moment it left his foot, you thought that's going in. And when you see him strike a ball like that, you made the point, he's capable of it. It surprises you that he doesn't maybe get a few more, Porro.
Yeah, because we know he takes all the set pieces. So if you take the set pieces, you must have good delivery. I wouldn't know, Fletch. I can't score from that distance. Never had that technique. I was a 6-yard box merchant, but the technique's fantastic. Me and Connor were right behind it, and I think Connor explained it excellent. Where the way it had the dip and the swerve, and Muric, he's 6'7". He had no chance. And you know what it is, Fletch? It hits that side netting. It always looks beautiful when it's on the rise into that side netting. Great technique, and I think Porro's been outstanding for them this season as well.
Yeah, and we talked before the game kicked off tonight about just how important this competition is for Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham this season. There'll be a bit of relief in the dressing room tonight, won't there? To know they're in the draw for the 4th round. They've got one out of the way. The real chance to win a competition. They're through. They'll be relieved by that.
Yeah, they'll be relieved. And you can see he played a strong team, so he wanted to get through. And you know what? He didn't want to replay. He didn't want to have to go to Turf Moor during the midweek. They've got a lot of games coming up, and obviously they've got injuries, injured players to come back as well. And he didn't want another fixture of games coming up. So I think he was happy. They'll be hoping for a decent draw in the next round, but that's all you can do. All you can do is beat what's in front of you. No matter what happens, at the end of the day, they're in the hat for the next round.
Clinton, thanks for tonight. Have a safe journey home, my friend. We'll speak to you very, very soon.
Cheers,
Clinton
mate.
Morrison, who's been alongside Conor McNamara. So Tottenham through, Pedro Porro with a screamer, and Spurs into the hat for round 4. So are Fulham after Bobby de Cordova-Reid won the game for them against Rotherham, but it'll take a replay to decide the winner of Brentford against Wolves. Wolves equalising in the second half through Tommy Doyle, and that's going to go to a replay at Molineux. That's all for tonight. All the highlights from the show will be available in the latest episode of the Football Daily podcast, which will be out later on tonight. Steve Crossman's going to be bringing you all the FA Cup action over the weekend with 3 commentaries tomorrow from 12, and then Steve back on Sunday for commentary of Peterborough versus Leeds. Coming up on 5 Live, it's Stephen Powell, but first it's the news on 5 Live with Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.